Chapter 421. In the distance, Jade-faced playboy looked at Lin Xian, who was increasing his cultivation. His heart was bleeding. It was supposed to be his. If he could get it, he would be able to enter the spirit-detecting realm in a short time. But now, Lin Xian had taken advantage of him. Old bastard, you are already dead but you are still not at ease. Why do you have to jump out and seek death? Jade-faced playboy also realized that the evil king was not really resurrected. He was in some kind of abnormal state. Although he was afraid, the greed in his heart overcame his reason. The evil king's crystal must be mine. Beside Jade-faced playboy, the peach blossom conception suddenly spread out. It formed a huge pink folding fan in the air and slashed down. Wind Slayer. Lin Xian had entered the mid-harmonious spirit realm. His strength had increased greatly. He quickly pulled out the wind shadow sword and waved out a sharp sword chi. In a flash, the huge folding fan in the sky was torn apart. What a terrifying sword chi. The evil king's spirit sense fluctuated. Fated one, according to our agreement, I will control this bloody freak. As for the others, I can't do anything with my current strength. It's enough. Lin Xian's eyes emitted a shocking light. He was already satisfied to be able to trap a spirit transformation realm warrior. As for Jade-faced playboy, he was able to resist before he successfully broke through. Now that he had successfully broken through to the mid-harmonious spirit realm, it would be easier to deal with him. Lin Xian's aura was strong. He slashed open the huge peach blossom folding fan. Brat, although you are powerful, you can only tie with me at most. Moreover, once I use my trump card, you will definitely not be my opponent. How about this? You give me the evil king's crystal, and I will let you live. Jade-faced playboy said. Humph, no way. Lin Xian sneered and completely ignored him. Since you are courting death, then don't blame me. Jade-faced playboy waved the peach blossom conception with all his strength. It emitted a strange fragrance that filled the air. Not good, the fragrance is poisonous. Hold your breath. Zhao Shue's face changed. You and I will work together to kill him. Lin Xian turned his head and said. Then 70% of the great dragon sword intent in his body surged out, and a huge dragon shadow appeared behind him. At the same time, streaks of green ripples flickered as the concept of wind was unleashed. With a wave of the wind shadow sword chi shot out in all directions. Zhao Shue took out the stone bead and poured her soul power into it, pushing it with all her might. The stone bead trembled, and the central eyeball emitted light. Countless symbols flew out, forming a terrifying killing move. The two of them joined forces to fight Jade-faced playboy. In the distance, the blood-robed man had been imprisoned by evil king, and no matter how he struggled he couldn't escape. Beside him, the 3 vermilion bloodbirds kept chirping. Boom! There was a huge explosion in the air, and the 3 figures quickly separated. Jade-faced playboy floated down, with shock in his eyes. He was actually being suppressed. How is that possible? Jade-faced playboy's heart was in turmoil. In fact, this was very normal. Lin Xian's wind shadow sword was a high-grade spirit-grade artifact, and he had the support of a 70% sword intent and small success wind concept. His strength was very strong, comparable to a spirit transformation realm martial artist. Zhao Shue also had the mysterious stone pearl, and her soul attack was even more bizarre. When the two of them joined forces, they put a lot of pressure on Jade-faced playboy, both physically and spiritually. Jade-faced playboy's face was gloomy, and the folding fan in his hand was creaking. Now that the blood-robed man was under control, he couldn't do anything even if he wanted to. Do I have to use my trump card? But the side effect of using my trump card is very big. Jade-faced playboy hesitated, and finally decided to use his trump card first to get rid of Lin Xian. Thinking of this, he looked at Evil King. Evil King was also looking at him, with a faint smile. Jade-faced playboy felt his heart tremble, as if he had been seen through. Don't worry, I won't interfere in your battle. If you have the ability to kill them, then Evil King's crystal is yours. Evil King's voice had a trace of indifference. Hearing this, Jade-faced playboy sneered. Boy, let's see who can save you this time. Without the threat of Evil King, Jade-faced playboy felt a lot less pressure. As long as he used his trump card, he would definitely be able to kill Lin Xian and Zhao Shue. Jade-faced playboy took out 2 red elixirs from his storage ring and quickly swallowed them. The next moment, his momentum increased greatly, and his skin turned pink, as bright as peach blossoms. A shocking power gushed out from Jade-faced playboy's body. He has reached the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm. Evil King was surprised. The middle stage of the spirit transformation realm? Lin Xian was shocked. Hurry up, he shouted and waved his sword with all his strength. There was a huge gap between the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm and the early stage of the spirit transformation realm. If Jade-faced playboy reached the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm, then they would have no chance of winning. The stone pearl vibrated, and Zhao Shui launched a soul attack. The inscriptions in the sky condensed into beams of light, bombarding Jade-faced playboy's soul. Jade-faced playboy's body trembled, and his face became ferocious. His aura also stopped. Although he hadn't reached the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm, he was not far from it. Next, I will let you know what fear is. Jade-faced playboy's whole body turned pink, and he was surrounded by the essence of peach blossoms. He grinned and stepped out. In an instant, he was in front of Lin Xian. So fast. Lin Xian's pupil shrank. He quickly performed the dragon inverse steps, and dodged quickly with the help of the black cloak. The air fluctuated, and a dazzling light burst out from Jade-faced playboy's palm. Boom! Lin Xian tried his best to dodge, but his body was still grazed by the palm wind. Suddenly, he felt that all his internal organs were shaking, and his body was about to explode. You can't even withstand a single blow. Jade-faced playboy's voice was cold. Boom! Lin Xian's body hit the wall, and he became a pile of rubble. Lin Xian! Zhao Shui shouted anxiously. Jade-faced playboy moved again. The folding fan in his hand drew a strange arc, and instantly covered Zhao Shui. Illusory fish hand. Zhao Shui waved her hands, and an illusory palm shadow appeared. In an instant, countless illusory arms appeared in the sky. Moreover, these arms carried the power of the soul, which was impossible to defend against. Cut! The peach blossom folding fan was like a scythe of death. It cut off all the palm shadows in the sky, and then hit Zhao Shui. Zhao Shui quickly formed a hazy moonlight to protect her body, but she was still sent flying by the terrifying force. Ha 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 ha! Even if you 2 ants have treasures in your hands, you still can't withstand a single blow from absolute power. Next, I will let you know what hell is on earth. Jade-faced playboy grinned as he walked toward Zhao Shui. At this moment, a cold light flashed from his left. It's useless. Jade-faced playboy's 5 fingers formed a claw, and he quickly reached out and caught the sword chi. Buzz! The air trembled, and Lin Xian appeared in the air with the wind shadow sword in his hand. He had been hit by a palm, but fortunately, he had the golden inner armor and the silver thunder body, so his body wasn't seriously injured. Chapter 422. Lightning Storm. Thunder suddenly appeared. Lin Xian's body was covered in thunder. Countless silver thunderbolts surged, turning the surroundings into a sea of thunder. However, the peach blossom aura was derived from peach blossoms. Although Lin Xian's thunderbolts were powerful, he hadn't comprehended the essence of thunder. Therefore, in terms of attack, Lin Xian's silver thunderbolts were not enough to resist the peach blossom aura. In an instant, the silver thunderbolts were wrapped by the peach blossom aura and quickly dissipated. Wind Thunder Lightning Ring. Seeing that the thunderbolts were ineffective, Lin Xian had to use the essence of wind. The combination of wind and thunder formed a powerful force that blocked the peach blossom aura. Moreover, he activated 70% of the Great Dragon Sword intent, making the wind shadow sword shine brightly. Countless sword auras flew out, rushing toward Jade-faced playboy. Although Jade-faced playboy had temporarily increased his cultivation to the peak of the initial stage of the spirit transformation realm, 70% of the Great Dragon Sword intent was still a threat to him. The peach blossom aura protecting his body was cut open, and the endless sword auras flew toward his palm. He had no choice but to step back. Jade-faced playboy waved his sleeve, shooting out several cold lights that disappeared into the peach blossom aura. This was his hidden weapon, the peach blossom poisonous needles. Even a warrior of the spirit transformation realm would be seriously injured if hit. He wanted to use the peach blossom aura to cover the traces of the peach blossom poisonous needles. However, Lin Xian's soul power was extremely powerful. With a slight perception, he found the hidden attack. Returning Wind Whisk's willow sword. Fine sword auras like willow branches appeared around his body, forming a sword curtain that blocked all the attacks. At the same time, he held the Wind Shadow sword tightly with both hands and suddenly stabbed out. Wind Emperor's sword. Endless wind surged, and the sword auras flew toward Jade-faced Playboy. On the other side, Zhao Shui waved her hands and used the illusory fish hand. The black and white yin-yang fish rotated together, forming the yin-yang illusory fish picture. At the same time, it also carried a strange illusion. Peach blossom cut. Jade-faced Playboy's body formed a peach blossom armor. He held a huge folding fan in his hand, and all the attacks were blown away. However, he was also pushed back by the two forces, and several shocking cracks appeared on the peach blossom armor on his body. Impossible, his sword intent has become stronger. Jade-faced Playboy frowned as he looked at the cracks on his armor. Lin Xian used the dragon rebel step to give chase. Streaks of swift and fierce sword techniques rapidly unfolded in the air. At the same time, he used the concept of wind, causing the surrounding air to condense. Suddenly, Jade-faced Playboy felt an inexplicable power on his body, making his movements slow down. This is the small success concept of wind. Jade-faced Playboy was shocked once again. He didn't expect that Lin Xian's artistic conception of scenery had reached the small success realm in just a few days. This kind of concept could completely affect his attack. Jade-faced Playboy's face was gloomy as the aura in his body surged. He used all of his strength to activate the peach blossom conception and struggled with all his might. The folding fan in his hand even slapped towards Lin Xian. The two concepts collided, causing the air to ripple. The terrifying waves spread out in all directions, causing the ground to crack. It was as if the entire mausoleum had been split open from the middle. Cracks that were nearly 1,000 meters long appeared on the ground. As the sword light flashed, Jade-faced Playboy was enveloped in it. Fantasy moon concept. On the other side, Zhao Shui quickly rushed over. A hazy bright moon rose behind her and pressed down on Jade-faced Playboy. Another small success concept. Jade-faced Playboy felt the pressure increase, and his face became abnormally ugly. The petals that filled the sky became dim, as if they had lost their luster. You've gone too far. Jade-faced Playboy's lungs were about to explode. The swift and fierce aura on his body quickly fluctuated, and the peach blossom conception became even more unstable. Is the effect of the medicine about to end? Jade-faced Playboy's heart tightened. The reason he could have such a cultivation was all because of the two pills. However, this kind of trump card had a time limit. Once the time was up, he would enter a period of weakness. Fight! While the medicine was still effective, Jade-faced Playboy decided to go crazy. He began to burn the spiritual power in his body, deciding to fight to the death. Is he going to fight to the death? In the distance, the blood-robed man was controlled by the evil king and could not move. However, he still paid close attention to the battle. When he saw Jade-faced Playboy burn his spiritual power, his heart beat wildly. This kind of method was extremely harmful to a warrior's origin. If it was not life-threatening, a general warrior would not use it. Obviously, Jade-faced Playboy was forced into a desperate situation. It was not surprising. Lin Xian and Zhao Shui had a conception that was not inferior to Jade-faced Playboy's. In addition, they both had treasures in their hands, so their attacking power was close to that of a warrior in the spirit transformation realm. Under the joint attack of the two, Jade-faced Playboy was suffering unspeakably. If he had not taken the pills in advance, perhaps he would have been seriously injured and dying. I didn't expect that after dozens of years in Jianghu, I would be bullied by two little devils in the end. Today, I will pay a painful price to kill you too. Jade-faced Playboy was completely out of control. The surrounding air vibrated, and the surrounding spiritual qi quickly entered his body. Jade-faced Playboy's body was full of spiritual qi, like a dancing flame. Not good, this guy is going to fight to the death. Lin Xian shouted in a low voice. Attack with all your strength. You must kill him. Jade-faced playboy had chased him several times, so Lin Xian had long wanted to kill him. Now was the best time to get rid of him. The spiritual qi in the sky gathered into Jade-faced playboy's body, forming a 100-meter-long folding fan behind him. There were countless peach blossoms engraved on it. Take my strongest attack, peach blossom, destroy the world. Jade-faced playboy waved his hands and fell toward the front of the battle area. The 100-meter-high huge folding fan behind him also fell with his movement. Lin Xian looked dignified. The wind shadow sword quickly drew some inexplicable tracks in the void. The clouds in the sky rolled, and a huge heavenly sword was formed. It carried a horrible pressure, as if it could destroy everything. Gale lightning sword, one sword breaks mountains and rivers. As the wind shadow sword fell, the huge heavenly sword in the sky also chopped down with endless momentum. On the other side, Zhao Shui merged with a stone bead and shot out a strange talisman. The talisman looked simple, but it contained a horrible aura. It didn't seem to be any weaker than the gale lightning sword. The three violent forces collided with each other. Suddenly, countless gusts of wind swept through, and a horrible energy wave quickly spread out. The entire mausoleum was enveloped and turned into fragments. Boom! The destruction continued and spread out to an extremely far distance. Lin Xian's entire body emitted silver lightning. He pulled Zhao Shui and quickly retreated. When everything calmed down, he looked ahead with a dignified expression. The entire mausoleum was cut open, and horrible cracks spread out in all directions. Other than the place where the evil king sat, the other places had turned into ruins. In front of him, there was a horrible deep pit with a trace of destructive aura. It was caused by the gale lightning sword and the stone bead talisman. In the deep pit, a figure with disheveled hair stood there with blood all over his body. His body was trembling, as if he could fall at any time. Earth-rank martial art. It's actually an Earth-rank martial art. Jade-faced playboy's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with fear. Under the attacks of the two, he suffered severe internal injuries. Fortunately, his cultivation was profound, so he managed to survive. Chapter 423. Earth-level martial arts were extremely precious martial arts in the entire Tianan region. Only a few top sects had access to them. Moreover, only a few disciples of the sects could learn them. You are about to die. You don't need to know anything. Lin Xian slowly walked over with the wind shadow sword. Don't kill me. I don't want it. I don't want anything. I beg you to let me live. Jade-faced playboy's body trembled as he began to beg for mercy. Now you know how to beg for mercy. Don't you think it's too late? Lin Xian sneered. When you were chasing me, did you ever think that you would one day be killed by someone else? Lin Xian was like a god of death, carrying an endless murderous aura. However, when Lin Xian was 10 meters away from Jade-faced playboy, who was originally begging for mercy, revealed a gloomy expression. Brat, even if I die, I will drag you down with me. He opened his arms and pounced at Lin Xian like an octopus. Moreover, he burned all of his essence blood, turning into a bloody red ball and quickly pouncing over. Jade-faced playboy actually wanted to perish together with Lin Xian. Not good retreat. Zhao Shui anxiously shouted from behind. Perish together? Lin Xian's expression was indifferent. He quickly waved the wind shadow sword and countless cyan sword shadows flashed in the air. I will not give you any chance. The cyan sword shadows that filled the sky merged into one, and instantly slashed through Jade-faced playboy's body. Jade-faced playboy's body that was flying in the air suddenly stiffened, and then slowly slid down. An extremely fine sword mark appeared between his eyebrows. Plop! Jade-faced playboy fell to the ground, but no blood flowed. A spirit transformation realm expert died just like that. The blood-robed man's face was full of shock. He felt that it was unreal. He actually killed someone who was a realm above him. This brat's strength is too heaven-defying. He was extremely shocked. Now he was in a very dangerous situation. If the evil king made a move, he would most likely die here. Just as he was struggling, a cold gaze looked at him. Suddenly, the blood-robed man's body trembled, as if he was pierced by thousands of swords. Lin Xian! He roared through gritted teeth. At this moment Lin Xian was too sharp. He was like an unsheathed divine sword, causing people's hearts to turn cold. The crimson-robed man felt a trace of fear in his heart. He looked at Lin Xian, who was gradually approaching him, and secretly channeled his spirit energy, preparing to launch his strongest attack. Little Xian, kill this three-headed crimson blood bird first. Its body contains the wind and thunder attribute, which can further enhance the power of your wind and thunder dual swords. Wine Lord transmitted his voice. Another upgrade? Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He stared at the three crimson blood birds beside the blood-robed man. Immediately, the strange bird felt uneasy and began to cry out. The head in the center emitted purple flames that crashed into the restrictions in all directions. Brat, what do you think you're doing? The crimson-robed man was shocked. Lin Xian's gaze was too frightening, giving him a bad premonition. Let me tell you, this three-headed bird has an extraordinary background. It's not something you can provoke. I advise you to give up on this idea. Otherwise, a great disaster will befall you. The crimson-robed man wasn't lying. Although he was a martial artist in the spirit transformation realm, his true identity was the servant of the three-headed crimson blood bird. His purpose in coming to the Tiannan region was to awaken all three heads of the three-headed crimson blood bird, and then bring it back to his family. However, Lin Xian didn't care. This crimson-robed man had tried to kill him many times, so he wouldn't show mercy. Can you release this strange bird alone? Lin Xian looked at the Diablo's corpse and asked. The Diablo's remnant consciousness paused for a moment, then said, These three crimson blood birds indeed have an extraordinary background. If I remember correctly, they should also be from a terrifying family in the Tianwu region. Fated One, are you really going to kill them? If you kill them, you might encounter unexpected dangers when you go to the Tianwu region in the future. Don't worry, Lin Xian said in a low voice. Only one of us can survive. Hearing this, the Diablo's corpse sighed and didn't force him. He waved his arm and forcibly separated the three-headed crimson blood bird. Brat, how dare you? The crimson-robed man shouted crazily as he used all his strength to resist the Diablo's restriction. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't escape. The three-headed crimson blood bird landed on the ground and let out a sharp cry. Purple inextinguishable flames rose around its body, exuding a terrifying heat. Its cold eyes stared at Lin Xian full of malice. It took the initiative to attack. A purple flame as thick as a chopstick flew out and instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian. He pulled out the Wind Shadow Sword and quickly stabbed at the purple flame. The Wind Emperor's sword flashed and slashed at the purple flame. Instantly, a sizzling sound was heard. Lin Xian's great dragon sword could destroy everything. Back then, he had extinguished the five-colored peacock's eternal flame. Now that his strength had increased greatly, it was easier for him to deal with the purple flame. The sword fell, and the purple flame was cut in half, dissipating in the sky. What? Impossible! The crimson-robed man in the cage was shocked. He knew the power of the purple flame. Even a warrior of the spirit transformation realm would find it difficult to destroy it. However, Lin Xian had extinguished the eternal flame with a single slash, which made him feel even more desperate. Brat, if you heard it, the Divine Bird clan won't let you go. The crimson-robed man's voice was unusually cold. Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. He didn't know how the dead would send the news back. He held the sword with one hand and used the dragon counterstep. He quickly arrived in front of the three-headed crimson blood bird and stabbed with the Wind Shadow Sword, carrying a terrifying sword will. For a moment, the three-headed crimson blood bird's feathers stood up. Purple flames the size of a fingernail rose from each of them, forming a sea of purple flames in front of them. At the same time, flames flew in all directions. Returning Wind Whisk's willow sword. The sword light circled and formed a solid defense. Lin Xian faced it head-on. Countless sword chi slashed down, tearing the void like a cloth. It couldn't be helped. The 70% dragon sword will was too terrifying. Moreover, the three-headed crimson blood bird hadn't really grown up yet. In an instant, the dazzling sword chi split the sea of purple flames and slashed toward the head in the center. Whoosh! The three-headed crimson blood bird flapped its wings and dodged quickly. Moreover, the second head on the left trembled slightly, as if it could wake up at any time. Seeing this, The crimson-robed man let out a sigh of relief. Although the three-headed crimson blood bird needed a large amount of energy to wake up, he would also wake up the second head in a critical moment. Doing this would cause a lot of damage, but it was worth it to save his life. Brat, if it wakes up the second head, I'm afraid that even a warrior of the spirit transformation stage would have a hard time fighting against it. Wine Lord reminded him. Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned and sped up again. He turned into a beam of sword light and attacked the three-headed crimson blood bird. Little White! Lin Xian shouted. The little white monkey's body shook and disappeared instantly. When it reappeared, it was already beside the three-headed crimson blood bird. Its furry little paw slapped the second head that was about to wake up. Buzz! An extremely strange dizziness was unleashed by the little white monkey. The second head that was about to wake up fell asleep again. Chapter 424. Under normal circumstances, there shouldn't be any external factors that could stop the second head from waking up. However, the little white monkey had interrupted the awakening process with one claw, which had completely overturned the blood-robed man's understanding. The three-headed crimson blood bird was both shocked and furious. The head in the middle let out a piercing demonic sound that spread in all directions. As an ancient species, its potential was limitless. If it could wake up the second head, it would be as easy as blowing off dust to kill the abominable human in front of it. However, the little white monkey was like its nemesis. It was able to stop its awakening. The three-headed crimson blood bird was very intelligent. Its eyes were filled with malice. If it didn't succeed this time, it still had a chance to wake up again. The three-headed crimson blood bird moved quickly, preparing to wake up the second head. At this moment, Lin Xian's long sword arrived. The sword light was like a rainbow, as it instantly pierced the head in the middle. The 70% dragon sword essence condensed into an illusory azure dragon and sank into the head. Puff! There was a flash of blood, as the head in the middle was mercilessly cut open. No! The blood-robed man screamed crazily. The sea of blood around him was tumbling as he crazily attacked the restriction. Ripples floated and appeared on the restriction. The evil king frowned slightly. Fated one, hurry up. I don't have much time left. Hearing this, Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat. He rotated his long sword, and the head in the middle exploded completely. Kid, you're dead. No one can save you. The blood-robed man quickly burned his spiritual power and made a terrifying attack. The sea of blood in the sky hit the restriction. With each hit, the light of the restriction dimmed a little. Don't even think about leaving today. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He took out the black scabbard and absorbed the purple flame in the middle head, according to the method taught by the Wine Lord. Then the long sword moved again. Lin Xian chopped at the second head. The head split open, and a dark blue airflow spun quickly. Its power was far above his wind essence. The second head contained the wind attribute. Lin Xian was as fast as lightning as he absorbed the wind into the black scabbard. The black scabbard was indeed mysterious. After absorbing the terrifying energy, it did not have much of a reaction. Only a faint glow appeared on its surface. The blood-robed man had gone completely mad. He burned his essence blood without any regard for his life, unleashing his strongest attack. Boom! The evil king's restriction was broken, and the blood-robed man appeared in the sky again. Fated person, I can only help you to this extent. After saying that, evil king's corpse fell back into the coffin. After the blood-robed man broke free from the restriction, he pounced on Lin Xian like a madman. At this moment, Lin Xian sliced open the third head with his sword. A streak of golden lightning flashed, and was absorbed into the black scabbard. Since then, the three heads of the three-headed crimson blood bird had been completely destroyed by Lin Xian, and the three types of energy had also been absorbed by him. The crimson-robed man's body trembled. He threw himself to the side of the three-headed crimson blood bird, hugging the blood-red corpse and howling into the sky. His voice was like a demonic diamond, causing people's scalps to go numb. Brat, even if you die 10,000 times, you won't be able to make up for your sins. The crimson-robed man was like a demon, his entire body covered in a layer of scarlet blood. An aura that far surpassed jade-faced playboys gushed out from his body. Burning spiritual power. Lin Xian frowned. The wind shadow sword quickly drew strange strokes in the air. It was obvious that the crimson-robed man didn't care about his life anymore. He just wanted to kill Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian also used his most powerful attack, the Gale Lightning Sword technique. In the clouds, the firmament giant sword flashed again, emitting a mysterious and ancient aura. The wind shadow sword fell, as if it could cut through mountains and rivers. Blood stains the firmament. The crimson-robed man ignited the qi and blood in his entire body. He blasted both his hands toward Lin Xian. In the sky, a blood-red waterfall hung upside down. An extremely strange and terrifying energy gushed out, as if it was going to tear it apart. The Gale Lightning Sword slashed down quickly. The sea of blood surged and countless blood flowers appeared. However, this was an attack that the crimson-robed man used with all his might. It was far stronger than before. Although the Gale Lightning Sword technique was an Earth-tier martial art, it was still blocked at this moment. "Brat, I'll kill you." The crimson-robed man's voice was vicious. Gale Lightning Sword technique, dual sword star annihilation. Lin Xian let out a low shout. He pulled out the star extinction sword and swung it again. In the sky, a huge sword shadow appeared next to the firmament giant sword again, tearing the sky apart. The dual swords seemed to be able to destroy the stars. An extremely terrifying energy gushed out and enveloped the crimson-robed man in an instant. Sword light danced, blood light filled the air, and a shocking explosion occurred in the air. Zhao Shui's face was slightly pale. She quickly retreated with the evil king's coffin. The entire evil king's tomb was completely destroyed. The dual swords were too powerful. Even the crimson-robed man, who burned his blood essence, couldn't resist. Lin Xian's face was slightly pale. Although the dual swords were powerful, they consumed more than half of his spirit power in an instant. Sheathing the wind and lightning swords, Lin Xian quickly searched in his soul. The 3 vermilion blood birds had been killed, and the crimson-robed man beside him was also split in half. Lin Xian let out a sigh of relief. He turned around and quickly left the place. Then, he put away the evil king's coffin and quickly left the evil king's tomb with Zhao Shui. Not long after the two left, the remaining blood on the crimson-robed man's body quickly rolled and wrapped around the 3 vermilion blood birds' bodies, disappearing. In the terrifying Demon Mountain, there was a colorful palace. It was full of multicolored light, like an immortal palace. However, there was a roar in this seemingly sacred palace. The disciple who was training in the Tianan region has fallen. No matter who killed him, bring him back and accept the death sentence. Everything related to him must be destroyed. I want the world to know that the disciples of the Divine Bird Palace can't be killed just because they want to. This voice carried boundless pressure and spread to every corner of the palace. Suddenly, several fiery red figures with extremely powerful auras quickly left the palace. Lin Xian naturally didn't know what happened far away. He had already left the evil king's tomb and was meditating in a nearby cave. This training could be said to be a great harvest. Not only did he find a lot of treasures, but he also obtained 2 supreme treasures. One was the Wind Shadow Sword, a high-grade spirit treasure. This treasure sword was extraordinary, allowing him to fight against spirit transformation experts. The other was the Evil King's Crystal. As long as he was given some time, he could use the energy inside the crystal to break through to the late harmonious spirit realm. The Evil King's Crystal not only contained pure energy, but also all the inheritances of the Evil King. This included cultivation methods and martial techniques. In terms of cultivation methods, Lin Xian's art of long life was very powerful, so he didn't need other cultivation methods to replace it. However, he could use martial techniques for reference. Moreover, this Evil King also cultivated both sword and soul, very similar to him. One of them was the Phantom Sword Art, which was a unique sword art that combined sword arts and illusions. This sword art made Lin Xian very happy. He had high attainments in both sword arts and soul arts, so he quickly mastered the Phantom Sword Art. In addition, Wine Lord also created a lightning sword art for his Star Extinction Sword, the 3000 Lightning Haste. Chapter 425. The 3-headed vermilion bloodbird was indeed amazing. The 3 attributes in its body were very unique, allowing Lin Xian's Wind Shadow Sword and Star of Extinction sword to improve. Although the grade did not change, the quality had improved by a large margin. Moreover, the black scabbard had also changed greatly. Other than the wind and thunder attributes, there seemed to be a ball of fire attribute slowly forming. Other than that, there was another martial art that made Lin Xian's heart beat faster. The Phantom Demon Steps was an earth-rank martial art known for its speed and agility. It was one of the Diablo's ultimate arts. An earth-rank martial art was a martial art that could tempt even spirit illumination martial artists. There were only a few earth-rank martial arts in the entire Dragon Star Nation. Back then, the Diablo had relied on the Phantom Demon Steps to escape the pursuit of powerful enemies. Otherwise, he would have died long ago. Lin Xian knew the power of an earth-rank martial art. His Gale Lightning Sword was an earth-rank martial art. It was extremely powerful, and could kill enemies above his level. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to learn the Phantom Demon Steps, to replace the Dragon Rebel Steps. However, he kept the powerful Dragon Rebel 7 Steps. After sorting out his gains, he gave some of the treasures to Zhao Shui. "What do you plan to do next?" Zhao Shui asked with a smile. "I came to Dragon Star Nation to get a spot to join the Azure Dragon Association. I'll be going to Desolate Flame City next." "Azure Dragon Association? Hehe, I want to join too. You have to be merciful when you meet sister." Zhao Shui glanced at him seductively. "You want to join too? Do you have a spot?" Lin Xian asked. "I should have enough this time. Those who join the Azure Dragon Association are all peerless geniuses. Their strength is far beyond your imagination. You can't be careless." Zhao Shui reminded him seriously. Then the two chatted as they ate. Before they knew it, the night had passed. "Sister is leaving. Don't miss me," Zhao Shui whispered into Lin Xian's ear. Then she quickly left. Lin Xian also sorted out his emotions and prepared for what to do next. There was only half a year left before the Azure Dragon Society, so he had to make the best use of his time. However, before that, Lin Xian was prepared to find a few demonic beasts in the nearby forest to practice his swordsmanship. He mainly wanted to test out the power of the two sword techniques he had just learned: Phantom Sword and Lightning Haste. The former was soft and sinister, and even had an illusory attack. The latter was violent and domineering, and its attacks were bold and powerful. The two sword techniques were completely different, and the way they were executed was also very different. In the forest, a 30-meter-long illusion demon butterfly flapped its wings and stared at Lin Xian. This was a type of demonic beast that specialized in illusions. Its attacks were very strange, and ordinary harmonious spirit realm warriors were no match for it. Lin Xian planned to use it to test the Phantom Sword. As he swung his long sword, sword shadows filled the air. Among the sword chi, there were both real and fake. It was hard to tell what was real and what was not. Moreover, although these sword chis appeared to be chaotic, they actually contained an illusory formation, which could often cause the enemy to inadvertently fall into an illusory formation and be easily killed. This sword technique could be said to be Evil King's famous sword technique. The illusory swordsmanship deceived the illusion demon butterfly. That strange attack gave the illusion demon butterfly a headache. The illusory sword chi formed a strange sword formation and killed the illusion demon butterfly. Lin Xian put away the illusion demon butterfly's demon crystal and started to search for demonic beasts again. This time, he wanted to test the power of the lightning haste. With the help of his soul power, he quickly found a demonic beast that he was satisfied with. The rock tortoise was a demonic beast that was famous for its defense. It was as hard as a diamond, abnormally hard. It was said that although this demonic beast was only at the 7th grade, a harmonious spirit realm warrior of the same level would not be able to break its defense. Only a spirit transformation realm warrior could kill it. The rock tortoise that was like a small boat looked at Lin Xian with disdain. It directly ignored Lin Xian. In its eyes, a mid-harmonious spirit realm human was not enough to break its defense. That attack was just like scratching an itch. Lin Xian moved quickly and pulled out the Star Extinction Sword. The sword chi turned into a thunderclap that shook the sky. The sword slashed through the air and turned into lightning. The rock tortoise shrunk its body and hid in its hard shell. Boom! Like 3,000 lightning bolts, the terrifying sword light bombarded the rock tortoise's shell, emitting a dazzling light. This sword was too violent. Countless sword marks were left on the tortoise's shell. The rock tortoise's body was severely injured and blood kept flowing out. At this moment, it finally showed a terrified expression. The human in front of it was too strong. The power of that sword strike was even more terrifying than a spirit transformation realm warrior. Luckily, the human did not have any intention to continue attacking, so it was able to keep its life. Lin Xian was very satisfied with this result. Whether it was the phantom sword or the 3,000 lightning haste, the power of the sword art was beyond his expectations. He used to mainly use the Wind Emperor's one sword and the 9 azure cloud swords. He also had the outer sky meteor. Now that he had 2 more sword arts, it could be said that he did not have any weaknesses in sword arts. In terms of body movement, he had a new earth rank martial art, the Phantom Demon Steps. Perhaps even a spirit transformation realm warrior would not be able to withstand it. In terms of defense, he had the silver lightning body and the golden inner armor. With the combination of the two, he could withstand the attacks of a spirit transformation realm warrior. It could be said that Lin Xian's current state was at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Next, it's time to go to the desolate flame city. Lin Xian summoned Xiao Jin and rushed toward the desolate flame city. The Star Dragon Strong country was divided into 8 counties. The desolate flame city was one of the more famous cities in the Heaven Desolate County. After leaving the forest, Lin Xian saw a huge city standing on the plains. The dark red city walls were like a 1,000-year-old volcano, exuding an ancient aura. Entering the city, there were many people coming and going. It was very lively. There were young warriors coming and going everywhere, talking and laughing with a sense of vitality. As Lin Xian passed by, he heard a few words. It seemed that the desolate flame city had a gathering of young warriors recently. That was why there were so many young warriors gathered here. However, this had nothing to do with him. He came to the desolate flame city to find Iron Hand and fulfill his wish. It was easy to find the Great Banner sect. Lin Xian only needed to see which building had the symbol of the Iron Blood Banner. Moreover, with the Great Banner sect's status, it would definitely not be in an ordinary corner. Therefore, Lin Xian directly went to the most prosperous area in the city. Sure enough, Lin Xian saw a magnificent building in the center of the city. There was a bronze banner on top of the building. The blood-red banner fluttered in the wind, making a loud noise. Stop, this is the Great Banner sect's restricted area. Unrelated people leave at once. The gatekeeper shouted coldly. I'm looking for Sir Iron Hand. Lin Xian took out the Great Banner token and placed it in front of him. Great Banner token. The guard's pupils shrank as he looked at Lin Xian in astonishment. A moment later he respectfully said, Young master, please forgive us. We were reckless earlier. Please come in. The Great Banner token was not an ordinary item in the Great Banner sect. Normally, only the elders with high status could issue it. Lin Xian's token was even more peculiar. It was obviously issued by Sir Iron Hand himself. Chapter 426. After leading Lin Xian to a living room, the guard respectfully said, Young master, please have some tea. I will inform Sir Iron Hand. Lin Xian nodded and slowly sat down. Soon, a beautiful maid came in and carefully served him tea. Lin Xian calmly waited and soon raised his head, because his soul power sensed an aura quickly approaching. Young Master Lin, please follow me to the study. The previous guard respectfully said. Under his lead, Lin Xian arrived in front of an independent attic. Young Master can go to the 3rd floor. Lin Xian nodded and pushed the door open. He steadily walked to the 2nd floor. Sure enough, in the study on the 2nd floor, he saw a stalwart figure, dressed in a black robe. His face was as cold as a knife, and he carried the dignity of a superior. It was Sir Iron Hand. Greetings, senior. Lin Xian slightly bowed. You came. Iron Hand slightly nodded. You helped me take out the blood-red flag. So if you have any requests, just say it. Then I think senior. Lin Xian smiled and said, I want to ask senior to help me find a person. Oh who? Iron Hand was slightly surprised. He originally thought that Lin Xian would ask for a treasure, martial arts, etc. He didn't expect that Lin Xian would ask him to find a person. This person is called Jiang Sanfeng. He is over 50 years old and has been to the heavenly mountain country. Hearing this, Sir Iron Hand's body stiffened. His aura suddenly erupted, shattering the nearby tables and chairs. However, his face quickly returned to normal, and the violent aura also disappeared. Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't know why Iron Hand would have such an intense reaction. Could it be that Jiang Sanfeng had a grudge against him? For a moment, his heart was filled with anxiety. This was almost his last chance. The remaining time didn't allow him to find another way. If this time didn't work, he could only try the dragon platform. Iron Hand slowly stood up and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian was startled. Although Iron Arms did not release any aura, he felt as if there was a mountain in front of him, suffocating him. However, he had seen many big scenes. Moreover, he had the great dragon sword intent, so he was naturally immune to such pressure. Therefore, in front of Iron Arms, he was calm and collected. Seeing Lin Xian's performance, Iron Arms was slightly surprised. To be able to have such willpower at such a young age was truly commendable. Who allowed you to come here? Why are you looking for Jiang Sanfeng? Master Han Lei, the alchemy master of the Tianshan Kingdom, asked me to come. Lin Xian said as he took out the token that Old Man DK had given him. I came to look for Jiang Sanfeng because of the Azure Dragon Association's quota. Seeing the token in Lin Xian's hand, Iron Hand's eyes narrowed, as if he had fallen into deep thought. After a while, he sighed and said slowly, "Don't look for this person anymore. Jiang Sanfeng is already dead." Dead? Lin Xian was flabbergasted. The person he was looking for was dead. What about his quota? However, Iron Arm's next words made him feel much more at ease. Although I can't help you find Jiang Sanfeng, I can help you with the quota for the Azure Dragon Association. Really? Lin Xian was overjoyed. He was looking for Jiang Sanfeng because of the Azure Dragon Association's quota. Now that Iron Arms could help, it couldn't be better. Iron Arms said in a deep voice, "As one of the 6 top forces of the Longxing Kingdom, the Great Flag Sect has a quota for the Azure Dragon Association every time. I can recommend you to participate in the competition for the quota, but you have to show me your strength. Otherwise, I can't help you." My strength? Lin Xian was puzzled. What kind of strength do I need? Although he didn't know the top forces of the younger generation in the Longxing Kingdom, he was still very confident in his own strength. I want you to be famous in the desolate Flame City, Iron Arms said. If you can't even do this, then I can't help you. Famous in the desolate Flame City? Lin Xian muttered. Then his eyes shone with a shocking light. I promise you. Recently, there's a tea garden competition in the city. Can you go there and try? Yin Duo, Iron Arms shouted. Immediately, a young girl came into the study and said respectfully, Sir, please give me your orders. Take him down and arrange a place for him to stay. Also, bring him to the tea garden competition in 2 days. Yin Duo looked at the broken pieces of the table and chair on the ground in astonishment. Then she respectfully agreed. Young master, please follow me. After bidding farewell to Iron Arms, Lin Xian followed Yin Duo out of the pavilion and walked into the depths of the palace. This is your room. If you have nothing to do, just stay inside. Don't run around. I'll bring you to the tea garden competition in 3 days. After saying that, Yin Duo turned and left. Wait a minute, Lin Xian said. What's the matter? Yin Duo turned around with a trace of impatience in her eyes. When she saw the broken table and chair in the study, she guessed that it was caused by Sir Iron Arm's anger. A person who could make Sir Iron Arms angry was definitely not a good person. Therefore, Yin Duo didn't have a good attitude towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't mind and asked in a deep voice, What is the purpose of this tea garden competition? You don't know? Yin Duo was astonished and then looked at him seriously. She sensed Lin Xian's mid-harmonious spirit realm cultivation and saw his plain clothes. She shook her head slightly. Although this kind of cultivation wasn't bad, it would be difficult for him to do anything in the tea garden competition. She really didn't know why Sir Iron Arms would let this kind of person participate in the tea garden competition. Wasn't this just throwing away the face of a famous sect? Yun Duo said coldly. The tea garden competition is a small gathering of the younger generation of the Heaven Desolate County. It gathers the young geniuses of the Heaven Desolate County. So that's how it is. Lin Xian understood. This was a meeting between the young warriors. Is there anything else? Yun Duo said coldly. If you have any questions, it's best to ask them all at once. It'll save you the trouble. That's all. Lin Xian shook his head. Lin Xian didn't care about Yun Duo's attitude. He didn't need to be angry with a little girl. What he needed to do now was to adjust his condition and prepare for the tea garden competition in 3 days. In these 3 days, Lin Xian fully comprehended the earth-rank martial art, Phantom Steps. With his comprehension and Wine Lord's guidance, he could be considered to have grasped the first step of this martial art. In the blink of an eye, the day of the tea garden competition arrived. On this day, the desolate Flame City was unusually lively. Countless young elites flocked to the Breeze Tea Garden in the north of the city. This was a grand event. It was a competition between the younger generation of the Heaven Desolate County. The hosts of this tea garden competition were 2 top powers, the Star Ocean sect and the Duan family. The Star Ocean sect was one of the 3 great sects of the Dragon Star country, one of the 6 top powers. The Duan family was also one of the 4 great families with a prominent position. Chapter 427. At this moment, the Breeze Tea Garden was already crowded with people. It was very lively. As far as the eye could see, they were all young warriors. These people had strong qi and blood, and their cultivation were all above the harmonious spirit realm. With this kind of strength, they would be at the level of sect elders in Xia country. One had to admit that the martial Tao of Dragon Star country was very strong. This morning, Lin Xian followed Yun Duo out. The 2 of them went to the Breeze Tea Garden. Along the way, Yun Duo was excited and kept repeating Duan Wuqing's name. This made Lin Xian a little curious. Who is Duan Wuqing? If you don't even know who Duan Wuqing is, then why are you participating in the tea garden gathering? Yun Duo snorted. Listen carefully. Duan Wuqing is the young master of the Duan family. He has a prominent background. He is one of the hosts of this tea garden competition. He is my idol. Yun Duo's eyes were full of stars. So that's how it is. A disciple of one of the 4 great families, and a host of the tea garden. It seems like his status is very high. If I defeat him, I should be able to become famous in Desolate Flame City, right? Lin Xian thought. The fastest way to become famous was to challenge a famous warrior. And this Duan Wuqing was one of the best targets. A smile appeared on the corner of Lin Xian's mouth. He was looking forward to the tea garden gathering. Seeing Lin Xian's smile, Yun Duo snorted disdainfully. Country bumpkin, young Master Duan can defeat you with just 1 finger. Also, although I don't know why Lord Iron Hand wants you to participate in the tea garden gathering, I still have to warn you. This tea garden gathering will gather many geniuses. You should go and gain some knowledge. Don't fight with others, or else you will embarrass the Great Flag sect. After saying that, she ignored Lin Xian and quickened her pace. Lin Xian shook his head and calmly followed behind her. Miss, please wait. Do you have an invitation? At the entrance of the tea garden, 2 young men in embroidered clothes smiled. The tea garden gathering was very high standard. Not everyone could participate. These 2 people were responsible for chasing away those who tried to sneak in. Yun Duo took out an invitation and handed it over. So you're from the Great Flag sect. Please come in. The 2 young men smiled warmly. Like a proud little princess, Yun Duo walked into the tea garden with her head held high. At this moment a voice came from behind again. Dear guest, where is your invitation? Lin Xian rubbed his nose helplessly and said, I came with her. He pointed at the clouds. Together. The young man's face revealed a suspicious look, as if he didn't believe it. It was no wonder. The guests who came and went were all dressed in luxurious clothes. They were either rich or respectable. It was rare to see someone like Lin Xian, who was dressed simply. What was the cloud wearing? That was made from precious demonic beast materials. They all had a certain defensive function. On the other hand, Lin Xian's clothes were ordinary clothes. How could the two of them come together? Brat, this is the tea garden gathering. I advise you not to cause trouble here. The two of them sneered. Cause trouble? Lin Xian was displeased. These people really looked down on him. Yin Duo heard the commotion and turned her head. She sighed. Let him in. The two young men were slightly surprised. They unwillingly made way for him. How can this poor brat be related to Great Flag? I think he's most likely a servant. The two of them whispered to each other. They agreed that Lin Xian was Yin Tu's servant. Alright, since you're in the tea garden, you can take a look at the rest. I'm going to find my sisters to play. Don't make a move. Go back after you're done. Yin Duo hurriedly ran away after giving her orders. Lin Xian found a pavilion and prepared to conserve his energy. There were exquisite snacks and spirit wine in the pavilion for the young martial artists to enjoy. After he sat down, he began to secretly size up these martial artists. Then he was slightly speechless. These martial artists were all at the harmonious spirit realm. Most of them were at the mid-harmonious spirit realm. There were also some late harmonious spirit realm martial artists. Could it be that Yin Duo didn't allow him to make a move? A mid-harmonious spirit realm martial artist was nothing here. As expected of the young generation's geniuses, there are so many young experts. Lin Xian was surprised. One had to know that these were only the experts of one county. There were 8 counties in the Dragon Star country. Moreover, the core disciples of those top sects wouldn't participate in this kind of gathering. At least Lin Xian didn't see any disciples from Great Flag sect participating. I wonder how strong the top young experts of the Dragon Star country are. Thinking of this, his blood boiled. Speaking of which, Lin Xian was only 18 years old this year. He had just joined the youth team. Although he looked calm, he also had a hot-blooded and battle-hungry heart. Fighting against peerless geniuses and comprehending the supreme martial Tao. This was the goal that every martial artist pursued with all their might. However, at this moment, an extremely discordant voice was heard. I'm so tired. Senior brother, I want to rest. I want to sit there. A coquettish voice was heard. All right, junior sister, as you wish. Then, a young man walked in front of Lin Xian and shouted coldly, You get lost. Lin Xian frowned and looked back. He saw a man and a woman standing behind him. They were dressed in luxurious clothes and wore luxurious accessories. One look, and one could tell that they were from a prestigious family. The two of them had arrogant expressions and looked at Lin Xian with disdain. How can a country bumpkin come in? What are those gatekeepers doing? The flirtatious woman mocked. Kid, I'm in a good mood. Get lost. This isn't a place for you to sit. The young man was very arrogant. Lin Xian didn't cause trouble, but he wasn't afraid of it either. He was sitting there perfectly fine. How could he not be angry when he was threatened and looked down on for no reason? He immediately snorted coldly. Apologize, or you'll have to bear the consequences. Are you threatening me? The young man was so angry that he laughed. Do you know who I am? How dare you ask me to apologize to a servant like you? You have a death wish. Get lost, or I'll slap you to death. No one will care about a nobody like you even if you die. The flirtatious woman sneered as well. Senior brother, why are you wasting your breath on him? Just slap him to death. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Am I that easy to bully? Aren't you afraid of kicking an iron plate? Iron plate. The young man laughed arrogantly. In the Heaven Desolate County, other than the Star Ocean sect and the Duan family, there is no one that my Yin Ling school is afraid of. Who do you think you are? How dare you call yourself an iron plate? Late harmonious spirit realm. Is this what you get for being so arrogant? Lin Xian sneered. I want leave. If you want to fight, you can try. After saying that, he ignored the two and slowly tasted the spirit wine. Who is this kid? Isn't he too arrogant? The others in the pavilion looked over. Isn't that Luo Yang from the Yinling school? I heard that he is one of the top young experts in the Yinling school. He reached the late harmonious spirit realm at the age of 20. Yeah, I heard that his comprehension is very high. He has a high chance of entering the spirit transformation realm. Chapter 428. The surrounding cultivators discussed among themselves. Apparently, they all knew this arrogant young man. Reaching the late harmonious spirit realm at the age of 20 was indeed a genius. That kid is dead for sure after offending the genius of Yinling sect. That goes without saying. Look at his clothes. He's definitely not a disciple of any sect or aristocratic family. He's probably a rogue cultivator. A rogue cultivator is still so arrogant? Look at his chi. He's only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm. Who knows? Maybe he's just an ignorant kid who doesn't know how powerful Luo Yang is. Kid, did you hear that? I'll give you one more chance. Kowtow and admit your mistake and I'll spare your life. Luo Yang was unusually arrogant. Get lost. Lin Xian's expression was cold as he spat out the words clearly. The surrounding crowd was shocked. Who is this kid? He still dared to scold Luo Yang even after knowing his identity. Kid, you're courting death. Luo Yang was furious. He raised his palm, and a terrifying force gushed out. Lin Xian bent his fingers, ready to shoot out a sword chi at any time. If Luo Yang really attacked, he wouldn't mind crippling his cultivation. Just as Luo Yang's palm was about to land, a loud laughter came from outside the pavilion. Haha, isn't this Brother Luo? Where have you been? I've been looking for you. A young man in white walked through the crowd and slowly walked over. The young man was wearing a white robe with the word Duan on his chest. He grabbed Luo Yang with a warm expression. Brother Luo, come, let's have a few drinks. Oh, it's Brother Duan. Luo Yang put down his palm and smiled. When the crowd saw the young man in white, they looked at each other and didn't dare to make a sound. Kid, you're lucky this time. I'll let you live a little longer. However, I'll let you know how powerful I am later. Luo Yang looked at Lin Xian and sneered. What's going on? Who dares to offend Brother Luo? The young man in white's face darkened as he looked at Lin Xian with cold eyes. Forget it. I'll deal with this myself. Luo Yang revealed a sinister smile and left with the seductive woman beside him. Lin Xian sneered. This guy didn't know that he was still alive. If the other party dared to make a move, he would teach him an unforgettable lesson. This small disturbance passed quickly, and the whole tea garden was bustling with noise and excitement. Soon, two young men appeared with a large group of supporters behind them. Look, young Master Wu Qing. It's young Master Wu Qing. Suddenly, screams rang out in the tea garden. The young girls were screaming crazily. They wanted nothing more than to throw themselves into the arms of the young man in white. Lin Xian looked up and saw two figures standing proudly in the crowd. The person on the left was a young man in a white robe. He had a handsome face and a graceful bearing. When he raised his hand, there was a noble and arrogant air about him. Needless to say, that person was Duan Wu Qing. Peak harmonious spirit realm. I hope you won't disappoint me. Lin Xian's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself. Then he looked at the person on the right. It was a blue-robed youth with a saber on his back. His appearance was ordinary, but his eyes were as sharp as swords, making people not dare to look at him directly. There was a sharp aura circulating around his body. Saber intent. This person has comprehended saber intent. Lin Xian secretly observed. He had comprehended sword intent, so he was very sensitive to both sword intent and saber intent. In addition, the blue-robed youth didn't deliberately hide his sharp aura, so Lin Xian could clearly sense it. This person is also at the peak of harmonious spirit realm, but with saber intent, he should be able to fight against a spirit transformation realm warrior. I wonder what level his saber intent has reached? While Lin Xian was observing, Duan Wu Qing slowly opened his mouth. This isn't the first time that everyone has participated in the tea garden gathering, so I won't go into the details. I hope that everyone will know when to stop and don't hurt each other. Everyone nodded their heads in agreement. All right, let's begin. Then, Duan Wu Qing and the blue-robed youth sat down and began to watch the competition. Lin Xian wasn't clear about the rules of the tea garden gathering, but luckily, there were many first-timers like Lin Xian who explained it to him. The rules are actually very simple, that is challenge by name. The named cultivators can choose to accept the challenge or not. There's no need to force them to do so. Moreover, if the one who accepts the challenge wins, he can continue the competition. The others can also go back and rest. What kind of rules are these? Isn't this just no rules? Indeed, this is equivalent to no rules. To put it bluntly, This tea garden gathering is for people to interact with each other. Some people want to become famous, some people want to find a partner. That's why the tea garden gathering isn't as strict as other competitions. However, for the sake of face, almost everyone who is named will accept the challenge. After listening, Lin Xian silently nodded. It turned out that he only needed to challenge by name. This was really convenient. He looked at Duan Wuqing and the blue-robed swordsman in the distance. If he challenged these two in one, he should be able to become famous in Desolate Flame City. However, he wasn't in a hurry to challenge them. He just silently watched. There was a special place in the tea garden for martial arts competitions. At this moment, there were two people fighting fiercely. Purple ripples were floating like silk, carrying an endless amount of spiritual energy, sweeping in all directions. On the other side, the sky was filled with palm shadows. The two fought fiercely, setting off a terrifying wave of chi that rushed to the sky. In the end, the warrior who used the palm technique won and defeated his opponent with a single palm strike. However, his strength was very precise and didn't injure his opponent. I welcome everyone to challenge me. The victorious yellow-robed youth laughed. Let me. A warrior jumped up high. The long spear in his hand was like a dragon, thrusting forward. Boom! The dazzling spear light was like a rainbow, piercing through the void. Haha, good one. Stormy waves. The yellow-robed youth waved his hands. The wind from his palms contained the sound of waves. The palm shadows were like waves, each wave higher than the previous one. In the end, 7 waves overlapped, forming a terrifying wave that crashed onto the long spear, forcing the spear-wielding warrior to retreat. This is the Stormy Waves palm. Is this youth a disciple of Heavenly Sea Pavilion? Everyone was discussing. What a terrifying palm force. I seem to hear the sound of waves crashing. That spear-wielding warrior should be a late harmonious spirit expert. But he was sent flying. The Heavenly Sea Pavilion disciple stood in the middle of the field and laughed loudly. Who else wants to challenge me? This was a good opportunity to become famous. He wanted to strike while the iron was hot. What bullshit, Heavenly Sea Pavilion, lose. An extremely domineering voice sounded. Then an illusory figure quickly floated over, moving as fast as a ghost. Mountain embracing palm seal. The figure was unusually domineering. He suddenly launched an attack in the air. The air vibrated. A mountain was formed. It was like a real mountain, pressing down on the crowd. Everyone was shocked. They felt an endless pressure rolling towards them. Mountain embracing palm seal. That's the secret art of Yanling sect. Could it be Luo Yang? Chapter 429. Toppling the mountains and overturning the seas. Wave after wave swept across the sky as if the ocean was descending. The collision between the ocean and the mountain created a loud noise. The entire void trembled incessantly as ripples of energy swept out in all directions. Some of the martial artists nearby were sent flying by the force. Boom! The ocean was torn apart as the yellow-robed young man was sent flying. I've lost, he said bitterly as he prepared to leave. However, the mountain in the sky did not disappear. It continued to press down on him. What? The crowd exclaimed. Puff! The yellow-robed martial artist was sent flying by the mountain. You! He landed on the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Senior! The Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples rushed out and surrounded the yellow-robed young man anxiously. My senior lost in a sparring match. How could you be so ruthless? You've broken the rules. That was indeed the case. Although the yellow-robed martial artist had defeated his opponent, his attacks were accurate and did not injure his opponent. Yet now, there was actually someone who disregarded the rules and continued to heavily injure him even after he had admitted defeat. This was simply going too far. What do you mean by ruthless? That was just an ordinary palm strike. He can only blame himself for not being strong enough to take one of my palms. Luo Yang sneered as he landed on the ground. The Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples were furious. Luo Yang was the one who had broken the rules and attacked, but he had twisted the facts. This was simply blatant bullying. If you're not strong enough, go back and train for another 2 years. Don't embarrass yourself here, Duan Tianlang sneered. The Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples trembled with anger. However, They did not dare to speak up against the Duan family. "Shut up and help me back," the yellow-robed martial artist said with difficulty, as he propped himself up. He knew that Luo Yang was a genius from the Yin Mountain sect, and had the support of the Duan family. If he persisted, the Celestial Sea Pavilion would be at a disadvantage. The crowd was silent. Although they sympathized with the Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples, no one dared to persuade them. Lin Xian frowned. That guy was really arrogant. He dared to hurt someone so brazenly. Thinking of that, he sighed and shook his head. It seemed that other than him, no one dared to provoke Luo Yang. Luo Yang looked at the Celestial Sea Pavilion disciples leaving and sneered. Then, he placed his hands behind his back and swept his gaze across the crowd. Immediately, everyone lowered their heads, not daring to meet his eyes. What a joke. If he fought with Luo Yang, he would definitely be injured or killed. Luo Yang's gaze lingered on the pavilion as a sinister smile appeared on his face. "It's you." He slowly extended his finger and pointed at a figure in the pavilion. The cultivators who were far away from the pavilion suddenly breathed a sigh of relief and looked over curiously. As for the warriors in the pavilion, their hearts were hanging high in their throats. However, when they saw who Luo Yang was pointing at, they all had strange expressions on their faces. It was a young man in black. He had a delicate and pretty appearance, but his clothes were extremely ordinary. With this kind of attire, it was very likely that he would be mistaken for a servant in a crowd. Who is he? He doesn't look like much. He's only a mid-stage Zhong spirit realm martial artist. Did Luo Yang make a mistake? Everyone was puzzled. However, the conflict between Lin Xian and Luo Yang quickly spread. When the crowd heard that Lin Xian had refused to give up his seat, and had even scolded Luo Yang, their jaws dropped. "Fuck, this brat is so fierce. He's definitely going to die this time. That's right. He dares to not give face to Luo Yang. I'm afraid he'll suffer in this competition. Brat, I've said that you'll see my true strength. Regardless of whether you agree or not, you have to participate in this competition." Luo Yang's voice was unusually arrogant, as if he was the controller of the tea garden. "Who do you think you are? Do you own the tea garden? Or are you the host of this competition?" Lin Xian sneered as he raised his wine cup. Hearing this, the crowd was shocked. Lin Xian's words seemed to imply something. As expected, the blue-robed swordsman and Lord Wuqing frowned slightly and looked over. "This Luo Yang is getting more and more arrogant," the blue-robed swordsman said coldly. "Brat, you want to sow discord? You're too weak. Do you think you don't have to compete just because of this?" Luo Yang sneered as he walked over step by step. Immediately, the crowd made a path for him. "Since you're in a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He put down his wine cup and slowly stood up. This brat must be crazy. Does he know who he's talking to? Does he have a trump card? It doesn't look like it. The crowd was puzzled. They didn't know why Lin Xian was so calm. In the crowd, when Yun Duo saw Lin Xian's bold and arrogant behavior, she was so angry that her face turned pale. D***M brat, didn't I warn you not to fight? You didn't listen and provoked Luo Yang. I'm so angry. Yun Duo was going crazy. Hey, Yun Duo, what's wrong with you? You don't look too good. Are you not feeling well? A woman beside her asked. It's nothing. I'm just a little tired. Yun Duo shook her head. She looked into the distance and wondered if she should stop this competition. Forget it. It's good to teach this brat a lesson. I don't want him to cause more trouble for me. Yun Duo made up her mind. However, she wouldn't directly attack Luo Yang. Luo Yang revealed a cruel smile when he saw Lin Xian walk out of the pavilion. Brat, you have guts, but your brain isn't working well. How dare you provoke me? Today, I'll make you crawl away. Luo Yang's voice was cold. Obviously, he didn't care about the rules. He had decided to seriously injure Lin Xian. You're a late harmonious spirit warrior. It's not good to challenge a mid-harmonious spirit warrior. Yin Duo said from the crowd. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Although it was the truth, no one dared to say it out loud. Who is this person? How bold? Luo Yang also turned his head abruptly. His eyes were as cold as a poisonous snake as he stared at the person who spoke. But then he was stunned. Although he didn't know Yin Duo, he knew the logo of the Great Banner Sect. The Great Banner sect was one of the 6 top powers. Its strength was far beyond the Yin Mountain sect. Even the Duan family was no match for it. Therefore, no matter how arrogant he was, he didn't dare to go against Yun Duo in public. Since the beauty has spoken, then he'll only use one hand. How about that? Luoyang sneered. Even if he only used one hand, he could still crush Lin Xian. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. He didn't expect Yun Duo to speak up for him at this moment. He smiled faintly. Since you're only using one hand, then he'll thank you. But you'll regret it. You're still so stubborn even when you're about to die. I'll let you know that I can easily kill you with one hand. Brat, don't say that I didn't give you a chance to attack first. Come on. Luoyang was very generous. In his opinion, Lin Xian was no match for him. Since you're so enthusiastic, then I won't hold back, Lin Xian said with a smile. Chapter 430. Lin Xian took a step forward and dashed forward. Luoyang placed his right hand in front of him and circulated the spiritual energy in his body. Lin Xian's body swayed. He didn't use any heaven-defying movement technique, so he looked ordinary. Soon he raised his fist and punched out. How dare you attack me directly? You're courting death. Luoyang sneered. This punch was too ordinary. It didn't have any shocking speed or terrifying momentum. How could it hurt him? Thinking of this, he stretched out his palm. As he punched out, lines of rock-like patterns appeared on his palm. His entire arm seemed to have been petrified. Boom! The palm and the fist collided, producing a thunderous sound that spread to all corners of the tea garden. A terrifying gust of wind blew, wrapping Lin Xian and Luoyang inside. Many people squinted their eyes and looked at the scene. Judging from the fluctuation of qi, it seems like Luoyang didn't hold back. That kid is unlucky. Even if he doesn't die, he will lose half of his life. Luoyang's rock-like palm couldn't be broken by a warrior of the same realm. A mid-harmonious spirit realm warrior had no chance at all. At first Luoyang thought so too. However, when he touched Lin Xian's fist, his expression changed drastically. An extremely terrifying energy bombarded his arm, causing countless cracks to appear on his petrified arm. Crack, crack, crack. A deep sound was heard. Luoyang's arm cracked and blood spurted out. When the gust of wind stopped, everyone in the tea garden was stunned. Lin Xian stood in the middle of the field with a smile. There wasn't a single wound on his body, not even a wrinkle on his clothes. Luoyang, on the other hand, was clutching his arm in pain and groaning. Blood flowed down his deformed arm. Impossible, Luoyang is injured. No way, that's a rock-like palm. How could it be deformed? Everyone was stunned. They felt like they were dreaming. Who is this kid? What just happened? How could he defeat Luoyang? A mid-harmonious spirit realm warrior defeated Luoyang with one punch. Isn't this too crazy? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Senior brother won't lose. The beautiful woman from the Yin Mountain sect was terrified. Duan Wuxia and the blue-robed swordsman also frowned. To be honest, they didn't expect such an outcome. Could it be that Luoyang was careless? The Duan clan disciple beside him wondered. Careless? No matter how careless he is, how can a mid-harmonious spirit realm warrior injure a late harmonious spirit realm warrior? The Blue Mountain swordsman sneered and shook his head. What do you think? He looked at Duan Wuxia. It's hard to say. He might be an expert, or he might have used some unknown means. The two of them kept staring at Lin Xian. In the field, Luoyang's expression was hideous, and his body trembled in pain. Brat, how dare you injure me? I'll kill you. Luoyang roared ferociously. His left hand pressed on his right arm to stop the bleeding. At the same time, he swallowed a few healing pills. Die. Luoyang threw a small black mountain at Lin Xian with his left hand. The air trembled, and the palm-sized mountain quickly enlarged in front of everyone's horrified eyes. In the end, it looked like a real mountain floating in the air. That wave of pressure was so great that it made many people pale and tremble uncontrollably. Die. Luoyang raised his palm and controlled the black mountain to fall down. Not good. That's the Yin Mountain sect's treasure, the Black Prison Devil Mountain. It's several times heavier than a real mountain. Someone recognized the terrifying treasure. and quickly retreated in fear. Damn bastard, get out of the way! Among the crowd, Yin Duo anxiously shouted. Although she didn't like Lin Xian, and even wanted to make Lin Xian suffer, she didn't want Lin Xian to be in any danger. After all, this was Lord Iron Hand's order. If anything went wrong, she wouldn't be able to escape the blame. As the Black Mountain fell down, a huge fluctuation occurred in the air. Countless waves of qi spread out in all directions like ocean waves. The air below exploded from the pressure. Lin Xian was locked down by an unknown force. He looked at the Black Mountain falling from the sky, his brows furrowed. Without dodging, Lin Xian took a deep breath and slashed at the air with his fingers like a sword. Whoosh! The resplendent sword radiance exploded in the air like 3,000 lightning bolts. The terrifying lightning sword qi bombarded the Black Mountain and sent it flying. Lin Xian moved and came to Luo Yang's side in an instant. What are you trying to do? Luo Yang screamed when he saw Lin Xian's figure. He couldn't understand why the sex treasure couldn't hurt Lin Xian. People like you will only be trouble if you live. Lin Xian's expression was cold as lightning sword radiance shot out from his fingertips. Brother Duan, save me. Luo Yang felt the shocking lightning sword qi and turned around to run like a madman. However, Lin Xian was faster. His fingers danced like 3,000 lightning bolts, and a sharp sword radiance pierced towards Luo Yang. Brat, how dare you! An angry roar was heard. Then a terrifying palm slapped towards Lin Xian. The palm technique was amazing, but it was still too late. Lin Xian moved like a phantom and appeared far away in an instant. Luo Yang was lying on the ground like a dead dog. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't imagine such a scene. The person who attacked was a disciple of the Shi family. It was Duan Tianlang, who was with Luo Yang. He quickly went to Luo Yang and used his spiritual power to sense him. His expression changed drastically. You crippled him. Duan Tianlang's expression turned ugly. What? Luo Yang was crippled? Everyone was stunned and looked at Lin Xian in horror. That was Luo Yang. Not only was he powerful, but he was also the eldest disciple of the Yanling sect. How could he be crippled just like that? Especially since the person who crippled Luo Yang was a martial artist that they didn't think highly of. Brat, how could you be so heavy-handed? I can kill you on the spot. Duan Tianlang's voice was cold as he stared at Lin Xian. Heavy-handed? Lin Xian sneered. What heavy-handed? It was just a casual attack. He can only blame himself for being too weak. Everyone was stunned. Why did these words sound so familiar? The disciples of the Oceanic Sky Pavilion trembled as they looked at Lin Xian in excitement. These were the words that Luo Yang had said before, but this time, he was the unlucky one. Retribution, this is retribution. People like Luo Yang should be crippled. The disciples of the Oceanic Sky Pavilion cheered. Brat, you are courting death. Duan Tianlang shouted angrily when he saw Luo Yang almost fainting from anger. Are you blind? Chapter 431. The crowd exclaimed, That's right. How could a genius with such strength not have a backer? Duan Tianlang's pupils constricted. He suppressed the anger in his heart and asked in a low voice. Who are you? Who am I? Lin Xian's eyes glowed with a shocking light. My name is Lin Xian. I believe that soon, the entire Barren Flame City will know my name. At that moment, Lin Xian exuded an inexplicable aura. He looked down on everyone like a demon. The crowd was shocked by the aura. They looked at Lin Xian in shock, as if they were worshipping an ancient giant. Lin Xian? That's a strange name. Have I heard of it before? Which sect is he from? Why do I feel that he's so terrifying? The crowd discussed animatedly. They looked at Lin Xian with reverence. Among the crowd, Yun Duo also stared blankly at the figure. The situation was completely out of her expectations. She did not know what to do. What Lin Xian? I've never heard of him. Hurry up and tell us your sect. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Duan Tianlang shouted. You don't have to worry. I don't have a sect. No sect. Duan Tianlang laughed. You're just a rogue cultivator. How dare you be so presumptuous here? Luo Yang also shouted crazily. Brother Duan, help me kill him. You must kill him. His cultivation was destroyed. He would be a cripple for the rest of his life. He could only be bullied by others. Therefore, he hated Lin Xian to death. However, he did not consider that if he had not been arrogant and bullied Lin Xian, he would not have ended up like this. He was the one who brought all of this upon himself. Don't worry. I'll take his head. Duan Tianlang's spiritual power surged out. His aura was even stronger than Luo Yang's. Stubborn. Lin Xian's eyes darkened. Duan Tianlang did not distinguish between right and wrong. It was obvious that he was using his position to avenge his personal grudge. However, he was not a pushover. He was not someone who could be bullied as he wished. Bright jade palm. Duan Tianlang waved his palm, and the spiritual qi in the air gathered madly. A terrifying palm shadow instantly pounced on Lin Xian. As one of the 4 great clans, the Duan clan had an extraordinary status. The Duan clan's disciples were the targets of everyone everywhere. But today, there was actually someone who dared to go against them. Duan Tianlang could not tolerate this. I'll let you know that the Duan clan's might is unquestionable. Duan Tianlang waved his palm, and a bright light rushed towards Lin Xian. The Duan clan sure is impressive. They can't tell right from wrong and they want to silence us. Lin Xian's voice drifted, and his body became even more blurry. This time, he used the illusory demon step, leaving countless shadows in the air. The Void Spirit Illusory Demonic Steps was an earth-tier martial art with extraordinary power. Not only was it extremely fast, but the illusions it left behind were also difficult to differentiate between real and fake. Not to mention Duan Tianlang. Even a spirit transformation realm cultivator would find it difficult to tell which was Lin Xian's real body. The bright jade palm mercilessly fell and destroyed countless illusions, but none of them were Lin Xian's real body. Cowardly rat, come out and fight if you have the guts. Duan Tianlang yelled madly. He had a lot of skills, but he could not use them. Is that so? I'm right beside you, but you can't see me. Lin Xian's voice came from behind Duan Tianlang. Everyone's heart palpitated. What a fast speed. They did not even notice when Lin Xian appeared behind Duan Tianlang. Brat die. Duan Tianlang turned around, but an even colder aura enveloped his body. You better not move, or I can't guarantee that your body is intact. A thunderous sword aura blocked his body. You dare to attack me? Duan Tianlang instantly stopped, but he was so angry that his whole body trembled. As a Duan clan disciple, he had a noble status. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? If you dare to attack me, the Duan clan will not let you go. I don't want to kill trash like you who relies on your clan to bully others. However, if you continue to act recklessly, I can't guarantee that you won't end up like him. With that, Lin Xian pointed at Luo Yang, who was lying on the ground. Duan Tianlang's body trembled, and fear appeared in his eyes. Just like Luo Yang, his cultivation had been crippled. A disciple whose cultivation had been crippled was useless. Alright, everyone stop. Duan Wuxia stood up. He pointed his finger, and an azure light instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. Its speed was shocking. So fast. Lin Xian was shocked. He retreated swiftly, leaving behind an afterimage. Whoosh! The resplendent finger beam destroyed the afterimage, and it disappeared. Without the threat of the lightning sword aura, Duan Tianlang quickly arrived at a safe place. Men, take this brat down. I'm so angry. Duan Tianlang shouted crazily. Trash, get lost. Duan Wuxia shouted coldly. Duan Tianlang's body trembled, and he dared not speak again. He could only stare at Lin Xian with murderous eyes. Alright, everyone knows what's right and wrong. I don't want to say anything more. However, this can only be done once. If there's a next time, don't blame the Duan clan for being heartless. Everyone was shocked, and there was an uproar. Duan Wuxia had let Lin Xian go. This was beyond everyone's expectations. Duan Tianlang was shocked. He wanted to say something, but when he saw Duan Wuxia's cold eyes, he lowered his head. He was just an ordinary disciple of the clan. While Duan Wuxia was a core disciple, there was a huge difference between their statuses. In front of Duan Wuxia, Duan Tianlang did not dare to act rashly. It's not like that. Brother Duan, save me. Luo Yang shouted crazily. He had lost his last hope. Brat, I'll kill you. The Yanling clan won't let you go. Junior sister, help me kill him. Luo Yang crawled to the side of the beautiful woman. Get lost. The beautiful woman kicked Luo Yang away and said with disgust, Men, throw this trash out. She did not dare to seek revenge from Lin Xian. Even a genius like her senior brother was crippled, let alone her. Everyone was shocked. Yin Duo stared blankly at Lin Xian. This young man had brought her too much shock. First, he shattered Luo Yang's arm with a single punch. Then, he overbearingly crippled Luo Yang's cultivation. Finally, he was not even afraid of the Duan clan's disciples. Who is he? Yin Duo was very curious. All right, the tea garden will continue, Duan Wuqing said in a deep voice. There were two reasons why he made the decision just now. First, he could not see through Lin Xian's strength. Being able to defeat Luo Yang and cripple his cultivation in one move was enough to prove that Lin Xian was an expert. He was at least at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Secondly, he sent people to quickly gather information about Lin Xian. He found out that Lin Xian came with the Great Flag sect. Although he did not know the relationship between Lin Xian and the Great Flag sect, such a genius must have a close relationship. He could not ignore it. These two reasons made Duan Wuqing unable to kill Lin Xian. Chapter 432. Lin Xian stood in the middle of the field and said with a smile, I've defeated Luo Yang. Is it time for me to challenge someone? Seeing that the crowd was silent, Lin Xian continued, I want to challenge you. He pointed at Duan Wuqing. What? The crowd screamed again, as if they couldn't believe their eyes. This guy is crazy. He dares to challenge Duan Wuqing. It's possible. I think he must have been blinded by the victory just now. Unfortunately, if he really dares to challenge Duan Wuqing, he will end up in a miserable state. Who was Duan Wuqing? He was a core disciple of the Duan family. Someone like Luo Yang couldn't compare to him. It was rumored that although Duan Wuqing was only at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, he had defeated the older generation of spirit transformation realm experts. Although it was just a rumor, it showed how powerful and mysterious Duan Wuqing was. In the past tea garden gathering, those who challenged Duan Wuqing were usually at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. However, even those at the same level were defeated by Duan Wuqing in one move. Therefore, in the eyes of the crowd, Lin Xian was courting death by challenging Duan Wuqing. Who do you think you are to challenge our young master Wuqing? Tian Lang shouted again. This time, not only him, all the disciples of the Duan family stared at Lin Xian fiercely. These people formed a terrifying pressure that pressed down on Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. The pressure did not affect him at all. He said calmly, I remember the rules of the tea garden gathering. The winner can challenge anyone he wants, and the one who is challenged can accept or not. I didn't break the rules, did I? Then why can't I challenge you? At the end, his voice was like a sharp sword that cut through the void. Lin Xian wanted to challenge Duan Wuqing. This action shocked everyone in the tea garden. If you want to challenge young Master Wuqing, you have to go through me first. A figure flew out and rushed toward Lin Xian with lightning speed. The spiritual energy in the air fluctuated and countless cold lights pierced through the void. Lin Xian's soul probed and felt danger. He took a step and his body disappeared. Chi-chi. Countless rays of cold light tore apart the space where he was originally standing, and a cold aura spread out. It's Han Yin Ke. I've heard that his cold mist sword art is exceptionally sharp. It's hard to find a match for him in the harmonious spirit realm. I didn't expect this person to be Lord Wuqing's supporter. If he makes a move, I'm afraid that kid will be in danger. That's right. Han Yin Ke is exceptionally powerful. Luo Yang can't compare to him. Kid, if you can't even beat me, then don't even think about challenging young Master Wuqing. Han Yin guest shouted coldly with his sword in hand. Really? Then you'll lose for me. Lin Xian's hand slid to his jade belt, and a black scabbard suddenly appeared in his hand. The absolute star sword was quickly unsheathed, and a violent sword chi surged. 3,000 thunderstorms. The sword light flashed with thunder and lightning, shooting into the sky. The tea garden was surrounded by thunderous sword chi, emitting a violent aura. Cold mist sword art. Han Yin guest quickly swung his long sword. The sword light was abnormally cold, and the whole space seemed to be frozen. The bone-piercing coldness pierced straight into people's souls. Boom! The void shook. The 3,000 thunderbolt sword art was too violent, and it dispersed the cold mist sword art in an instant. The thunderbolts in the sky condensed into a dazzling sword light, slashing toward Han Yin-ke. Han Yin-ke was shocked. He blocked the attack with his sword, forming a solid sword light in front of him. Ka. The sword light was like a thunderbolt, shattering Han Yin-ke's sword light and sending him flying. What? Han Yin-ke was defeated? And he was defeated in one move. The crowd went crazy. The young man in front of them had given them too much shock. Am I qualified? Lin Xian withdrew his absolute star sword. His eyes were like a sword light, piercing toward Lord Wuqing. No, I'll take you on. Another figure flew out. This person was 2 meters tall, and his muscles were filled with explosive strength. He carried the aura of a dragon and tiger as he walked. Could he be the disciple of the great Titan sect, Wang Dali? That's right, it's him. Rumor has it that his strength is so great that he can pull out a mountain. He once smashed a peak harmonious spirit warrior into meat paste with one palm. I didn't expect him to come on stage. The crowd was excited, and they all looked at the stage. Looking at the tall young man in front of him, Lin Xian felt a sense of pressure. Kid, come on. You can only challenge Lord Wuqing if you defeat me. Wang Dali shouted, and his body emitted a dazzling light. A hazy golden light covered his body, as if he was made of gold. He looked extraordinarily powerful. He took a step forward, and the ground under his feet cracked open. The glaring cracks quickly slashed toward Lin Xian. The ground cracked, as if it was being torn apart by someone. Lin Xian's body soared into the sky, defying the heavens. 7 steps of the dragon. Under his feet, a hazy green light appeared, like the purple claw of a giant dragon. Lin Xian took a step forward, and he stepped toward Wang Dali. Wang Dali shouted angrily and punched out. Too arrogant. Someone dared to step on him in the sky. He couldn't stand it. The fist carried a golden light, and it shattered the void. Lin Xian was like a willow leaf swaying in the wind, constantly swaying. However, he didn't care about it at all, as he had comprehended the concept of wind. He stepped on the golden fist, and a deep dragon roar sounded in the sky. The void surged as if it was about to split open, forming a huge wave that spread out in all directions. Lin Xian's body soared into the sky and flew upward. Wang Dali didn't move, but his face was unusually serious. Was he sent flying? Everyone exclaimed. It was still not enough. Yeah, no one can compete with Wang Dali in strength. But that kid isn't injured. That's rare. Everyone discussed, shaking their heads and sighing. However, they soon realized that they were wrong. Lin Xian's rising body suddenly stopped, and then he came down with an even more violent aura. He stepped out again, and an illusory dragon claw appeared under his feet. With a heart-palpitating power, it grabbed toward Wang Dali. Get lost! Wang Dali's body emitted a golden light, and he waved his fist toward the sky again. The two of them exchanged blows, and every collision caused the entire tea garden to tremble. Too terrifying. Who is this kid? He can actually compete with Wang Dali in strength? It's already the 6th move. Does he not have a limit? One move to decide the winner. Wang Dali was furious. No one had ever been able to compete with him in strength for so long. Uprooting mountains and rivers. He shook his arms 7 times and blasted toward the sky. Endless golden light rushed to the sky, dyeing the sky golden. This power was enough to threaten a spirit transformation realm warrior. 7th step. Lin Xian stepped out for the last time, and an illusory azure dragon appeared under his feet. It roared ferociously and rushed downward. The golden light in the sky was torn apart, and the azure dragon's roar instantly hit Wang Dali's fist. The sky was messed up, and the ground sank. Wang Dali's hands were trembling, and he kept retreating. Every time he took a step back, the ground would crack. This scene was too terrifying. Wang Dali, who had always been the strongest in the harmonious spirit realm, was actually pushed back. Everyone stared blankly at Lin Xian, who was floating down, and they couldn't stop swallowing their saliva. No one has ever been able to beat me in strength. You are very strong. I admit defeat. Wang Dali shook his head, and sighed as he felt his arm go numb. Lin Xian nodded and looked at Duan Wuqing. Chapter 433. Everyone was silent. Even the Duan clan was terrifyingly quiet. Lin Xian's strength was beyond their expectations. Perhaps only Duan Wuqing could withstand his strength. If anyone else went up, they would only be humiliating themselves. Duan Wuqing's eyes glowed as he slowly stood up. You are very strong. You are worth my time. Everyone was shocked. Was young Master Wuqing finally going to make a move? They were extremely excited. Very well, please. Lin Xian made a gesture of invitation. Please. Duan Wuqing also bowed. His body flashed, and he instantly appeared in the middle of the field. Everyone retreated, leaving enough space for the two of them to fight. When such peerless geniuses fought, they couldn't get too close. Otherwise, they would be unlucky if they were accidentally injured. Who do you think will win? A martial artist asked. Needless to say, young Master Wuqing, of course. He is a genius youth who defeated a martial artist in the spirit transformation realm. Yeah, I heard that the Duan clan's star finger is extremely mysterious. Legend has it that if it is practiced to perfection, even the stars will explode. Although that kid is strong, how can he be compared to young Master Wuqing? Everyone discussed in low voices. None of them were optimistic about Lin Xian. It was no wonder. Although Lin Xian was valiant, young Master Wuqing was even stronger. In everyone's hearts, he was the symbol of invincibility. Take Wang Dali for example. Lin Xian forced Wang Dali back in 7 moves. Back then, young Master Wuqing defeated Wang Dali with 1 finger. Everyone clearly saw the gap between them. Star Finger is the Duan clan's secret art. It is extremely powerful, so you have to be careful. Star Finger is the Duan clan's secret art. Legend has it that 1 finger can explode stars. Even if this martial art wasn't an Earth-tier martial art, it wasn't too far off. Duan Wuqing extended his finger. The surrounding spirit chi quickly surged, and the finger emitted a dazzling light. It was like jade with mysterious patterns on it. As he pointed his finger, the sky flickered. A thin needle-like finger light flew towards Lin Xian's forehead. Duan Wuqing appeared gentle, but his attack was cold and merciless. He aimed directly at Lin Xian's vital point. In an instant, Lin Xian's aura tightened. He felt as if he was being locked down by an unknown force. Illusory demon steps. Lin Xian dodged with extreme speed like a ghost. The Void Spirit Illusory Demon Step was a true Earth-tier martial art with extraordinary power. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian broke free from Star Finger. So fast. What kind of footwork is that? Everyone was shocked. They simply couldn't see Lin Xian's figure clearly. In the distance, the blue-robed swordsman also frowned slightly. His gaze was like a blade light that enveloped the entire void. Although the speed is fast, the Star Finger is not that easy to dodge. The blue-robed swordsman shook his head slightly. Indeed, even though Lin Xian had dodged that resplendent purple light in an instant, the sense of danger in his heart still hadn't disappeared. Using his soul power, he quickly scanned the surroundings. His expression changed drastically. Although he dodged the sharp finger light, the resplendent purple light did not disappear. Instead, it continued to pursue him at a strange speed. What kind of finger technique is this? Lin Xian was shocked that it could automatically change directions. His body moved again, shuttling back and forth in the tea garden like a ghost. However, the light followed him like a shadow and quickly chased after him. It should have locked onto you. Looks like you can only resist with all your strength. Wine Lord transmitted his voice. Since I can't dodge it, it'll just destroy it. He suddenly turned around and quickly pulled out the Star of Extinction sword. With the 3000 lightning movement, the sword chi in the sky turned into thunderbolts and slashed at the finger light behind him. However, the Star Finger was so sharp that it actually pierced through the thunderbolts. That's not how you destroy the Star Finger. Kid, just wait for your death. Duan Tianlang sneered. It actually pierced through. Lin Xian was surprised. It seemed that he had underestimated the Star Finger. Try this. A trace of dragon sword essence gushed out and merged with the sword chi. Chi. Suddenly, the resplendent finger light was split open and dissipated between heaven and earth. What? The Star Finger was split open? This is impossible. Duan Tianlang screamed in horror. As a disciple of the Duan family, of course he knew the power of the star finger. Even a martial artist of the spirit transformation realm could not destroy it so easily. Duan Wuxia stood with his hands behind his back and frowned slightly. You can destroy the star finger. Interesting. It seems that you can make me a little more serious. Say that after you beat me, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Watch this. Duan Wuxia stretched out his palm again. On his jade-like finger, there were blue lines entwined, emitting a light blue light. A finger light as thick as a stone pillar appeared in the void, and a huge shadow shrouded Lin Xian. What a terrifying aura. Everyone's faces turned pale, and they could not breathe. The star finger was extremely mysterious. A moment ago, it was as thin as a silver needle, but now it was as thick as a mountain. The terrifying finger light pressed down, as if it could destroy everything. Let's see how you block it this time. The disciple of the Duan family sneered. In the crowd, Yunduo's small hands kept rubbing the corner of her clothes. She was very nervous. Nothing must happen to this bastard. Wind Slayer. The star extinction sword was swung out, and the violent lightning disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by a strange and unpredictable sword light. Wherever the sword light passed, the concept of wind quickly spread out. In the sky, the bright finger light seemed to be under great resistance, and its speed slowed down little by little. An inexplicable power filled the void, and it kept breaking down the bright finger light. What's going on? What happened? Everyone exclaimed. They could not understand, but the experts frowned tightly. This is a concept. The blue-robed swordsman looked at the sky, and his eyes emitted a shocking light. Duan Wuxia snorted coldly. He also felt the concept of wind. In the sky, the bright finger light quickly became smaller, and finally it disappeared between heaven and earth. His astonishing means had stunned everyone. Concept of wind? I didn't expect this to be your true strength. Duan Wuxing's expression was gloomy. I really underestimated you. What? Concept of wind? Everyone was shocked and looked at Lin Xian in horror. Yunduo's mouth was also slightly open, and she was very surprised. A martial artist who could comprehend a concept was definitely a genius. Lin Xian actually comprehended the concept of wind at such a young age. He was a genius among geniuses. Now Yunduo knew why Lord Iron Hand wanted Lin Xian to participate in the tea garden gathering. It was because Lin Xian's talent and strength were not inferior to Lord Wuxia. It was ridiculous that he had warned him not to make a move. Yunduo smiled bitterly. The disciples of the Yin Mountain sect looked at Lin Xian in horror, and they felt a lingering fear. Fortunately, they did not help Luo Yang at that time. Otherwise, they would be the unlucky ones now. Even their senior brother Luo Yang did not comprehend a concept. They could imagine how abnormal Lin Xian's talent was. You are very strong, but it is not enough to defeat me. Duan Wuxia was very confident. At this moment, a surge of spiritual energy was released from his body, stirring up the wind and clouds. I will let you see the true power of the star finger. Chapter 434. Everyone was shocked. It was hard to imagine that the power was not Lord Wuqing's full strength. Lin Xian frowned slightly. Duan Wuxia did not look like he was lying. Let me see your Duan clan's secret technique. Lin Xian was surrounded by the concept of wind. His black hair was like a waterfall, fluttering in the wind. The first move of the star finger, void dimension. He pointed out with his finger, and a bright light flashed and disappeared between heaven and earth. Everyone was shocked and looked at each other. They could not see the finger light at all, let alone feel it. Lin Xian frowned deeply. In the next moment his expression changed slightly. His body flashed quickly, as he performed an extreme movement technique. A sword-like finger light instantly pierced through his shadow, and quickly disappeared. What? It merged into the void. How can he dodge it? No wonder Lord Wuqing is so confident. Is this the true power of the star finger? The Blue Mountain swordsman also took a deep breath as he stared at Lin Xian's figure. He was also a little afraid of the Duan clan's star finger. I wonder how this kid is going to dodge it. Lin Xian was shocked. The star finger was indeed beyond his expectations. Its effect was similar to his concept of wind, which could merge into the wind. Moreover, what surprised him was that he could not accurately lock onto it in his soul. The Starfinger's speed was extremely fast. Even the slightest mistake could lead to a misjudgment. Since I can't dodge it, then I won't waste it. Lin Xian stopped abruptly and swung his long sword. Sword patterns that looked like willow branches circled around his body. Returning wind-whisking willow sword. Many green patterns of sword chi surrounded Lin Xian. These sword chi had merged with the concept of wind. Its power was far beyond normal. It seemed to have changed the surrounding space. Boom! The Starfinger appeared instantly, and collided with the defense, creating countless sparks. Chi! Chi! Countless waves appeared on the sword screen. Many sharp sword chi shot out from the sword screen, and slashed toward the Starfinger. Lin Xian used himself as bait to draw out the unpredictable finger light. Then, he used the concept of wind to defend himself, before using the Great Dragon's sword intent to destroy it. This series of actions happened in an instant, so when everyone came back to their senses, Starfinger had already disappeared. What? He actually blocked it. Duan Wuxing was stunned. This move was the killing move of the Starfinger. It came and went without a trace, and could kill people without leaving a trace. It was far from comparable to the previous few fingers. However, this killing move was easily blocked by Lin Xian. This made him feel unreal. Impossible, this must be a coincidence. Duan Wuxing did not believe it. He flicked his fingers continuously, shooting out rays of finger light one after another. Divine radiance lit up the sky, illuminating all directions as it rushed towards Lin Xian, with a biting cold killing intent. This scene made everyone tremble. That aura seemed to be able to pierce through heaven and earth. However, this time Lin Xian faced it head-on. The spiritual energy in his body revolved, and the concept of wind was pushed to the extreme. At the same time, the absolute star sword slashed out streaks of sword light, all of which contained terrifying sword intent. Boom! The void trembled as the finger light was split into two, and dissipated in the sky. Chi-chi! Another two finger lights disappeared. The sword energy was unstoppable. Lin Xian was like a sword god. Every sword had an unpredictable power, causing the Starfinger light to disappear. No, this is not the concept of wind. Duan Wuxing looked at the sky with an ugly expression. This attack power, could it be sword intent? Impossible, he already has the concept of wind. How can he have sword intent? Duan Wuxing did not believe it, because it was simply impossible. He had never heard of a person having two concepts. In the distance, the blue-robed swordsman also stood up suddenly. The table in front of him was cut in half by the invisible sword energy. At this moment, he was even more surprised than Duan Wuxing. Sword intent, he actually comprehended sword intent. The blue-robed swordsman's eyes bloomed with sword light, and a shocking aura rose from his body. He had comprehended sword intent, so he could clearly feel Lin Xian's sword intent. Hearing the blue-robed swordsman's words, everyone exclaimed. Sword intent was extremely difficult to comprehend in the concept. Once comprehended, the attack power would increase exponentially. That's not right. Didn't that kid comprehend the concept of wind? Why did it become sword intent? Yeah, could that swordsman have sensed it wrong? How could it be? Do you know who he is? He is Qiu Si Hai from the Star Ocean sect. How could he have sensed it wrong? Hearing this, everyone was silent. Lin Xian actually comprehended two types of concepts. This talent was also too terrifying. Duan Wuxing's expression was even more unsightly. Who is this kid? How can he comprehend two concepts? He was extremely jealous. As a core disciple of the Duan family, he did not comprehend concepts. But Lin Xian, an unknown brat, actually comprehended two kinds of concepts. This made him feel a strong sense of defeat. No, I can't admit defeat. How about comprehending concepts? My cultivation is far higher than his. I can't lose. Duan Wuxing gritted his teeth and said. At the same time, the aura in his body surged, burning with the blue flame. He used the star finger again, and it was like a dragon roaring in the air. 3,000 lightning haste. A sword chi was like thunder, containing a terrifying sword intent, slashing towards the void. This sword was abnormally violent. It was as if divine lightning had struck the ground and destroyed everything. At the same time, Lin Xian used the illusory demonic steps, increasing his speed to the limit, instantly arriving in front of Duan Wuqing. Phantom Sword. Lin Xian changed his sword technique again. The sword chi was illusory, slashing in all directions. Duan Wuqing's expression changed. This sword chi made him feel a strong sense of danger. His fingers moved, and an arc of light flew out, forming a half-moon attack in front of him. However, the phantom sword was illusory, and had an illusion attack. Duan Wuqing could not distinguish it at all, and was instantly hit by the two sword chi. In the next moment, he was sent flying. Although he had activated his defensive armor at the first moment, the terrifying sword chi still caused his blood to churn. Impossible, this is impossible. He can actually resist my star finger. Duan Wuqing could not accept this. Who was he? He was a core disciple of the Duan family, and his cultivation was at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Lin Xian was only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm, and there was a gap of 2 realms between them. One should know that the gap between the harmonious spirit realm was huge, and the difference between each realm was like heaven and earth. Unless one was a peerless genius or had a powerful weapon, then it was possible to fight across realms. Even then, it was only possible to fight across one realm. But Lin Xian was able to fight across 2 realms, and he even had the upper hand. This was too shocking. Even if he had sword intent, it was still impossible. Duan Wuqing looked at Lin Xian, his eyes full of shock and unwillingness. There's no need to fight anymore, you've lost. Lin Xian put away the star extinction sword and said in a deep voice, "What did you say? You're only temporarily in the lead. I haven't used all my strength yet." Duan Wuqing gritted his teeth and said he could not accept this result. Moreover, Lin Xian's attitude made him even angrier. Lin Xian shook his head. "I've already held back just now. If we continue, you'll be seriously injured." Everyone exclaimed. Lin Xian's strength was already terrifying enough, but he still held back. Chapter 435. Lin Xian was right. He had only used part of his sword intent, which was only at the minor accomplishment level. Even so, Duan Wuqing couldn't bear it anymore. Moreover, Lin Xian's sword intent had reached 70%. If he used all of it, he could instantly kill Duan Wuqing. One should know that Lin Xian had killed 2 spirit transformation experts. Duan Wuqing didn't know this. In his opinion, Lin Xian's words were too arrogant. "Brat, I will let you know that the disciples of the Duan clan are not to be humiliated." Duan Wuqing's spirit energy surged. However, Lin Xian's speed was faster. The Wind Emperor's sword arrived in front of Duan Wuqing in a flash. Star point. Duan Wuqing's right hand shot out a finger light. His left hand was also raised high, slapping toward Lin Xian. The bright jade palm was also one of the secret arts of the Duan clan. The 2 ultimate techniques attacked Lin Xian at the same time. Divine light filled the sky. The jade palm covered the sky. The air was mercilessly torn apart. This kind of attack was enough to kill any harmonious spirit expert. However, Lin Xian's Wind Emperor's sword was a combination of 2 great intents. Its power was beyond Duan Wuqing's understanding. The sword energy swept across. Duan Wuqing was sent flying again. Everyone was stunned. Their minds were blank. The disciples of the Duan clan exclaimed, and ran toward Duan Wuqing. "Brat, you dare to injure a disciple of the Duan clan. You are finished. No one can save you." Duan Tianlang's face was ferocious. "Shut up," Duan Wuqing shouted coldly. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and stood up with difficulty. "I am not a sore loser. You are very strong. You have won." Young Master Wu Qing, whose name shook the entire desolate flame city, had actually lost. It wouldn't take long for the entire desolate flame city to know. "Thank you." Lin Xian cupped his fists and said. He didn't have any enmity with Duan Wuqing. This was just a competition. His goal was to become famous in the desolate flame city. Lin Xian shifted his gaze from Duan Wuqing to the Blue Mountain swordsman. Everyone was stunned. Does he want to continue the challenge? As expected, Lin Xian said in a low voice, "Can we fight?" "I couldn't ask for more." Blue Mountain swordsman Xiao Sihai stood up, and his aura surrounded him like a saber light. Unlike Lord Wu Qing's carefree aura, Qiu Sihai's aura was extremely sharp, like a heavenly blade that could cut through everything. This was saber intent, an indestructible saber intent. Feeling this aura, Lin Xian's eyes flashed, and he also activated a shocking sword intent. However, he still only used a portion of his sword intent, and controlled it at the minor accomplishment realm. Take this. Qiu Sihai didn't talk nonsense. The long saber behind him clanged, and the sharp saber instantly slashed towards Lin Xian. An aura as heavy as a mountain, but not lacking in sharpness, instantly enveloped Lin Xian. The void buzzed as if it was about to break open at any moment. Everyone held their breaths, as they couldn't withstand such an aura. Even a peak harmonious spirit warrior wouldn't be able to escape from such an attack. Pulling out the star extinction sword, Lin Xian took the opportunity to attack. The sword light was like thunder, violent and domineering. The saber and sword collided, shaking the earth and the whole tea garden. In the next moment, the sword chi and saber light both disappeared in the sky. It's on par with my saber intent. Qiu Sihai looked dignified. Minor accomplishment saber intent not bad. Lin Xian nodded slightly. Among all the warriors he knew, except for Lin Feng's sword intent, Qiu Sihai's saber intent was the strongest. Let's use our strongest attack to determine the winner, Qiu Sihai said in a deep voice. 4 swordsmen like them who had comprehended sword intent. Their attacks were extremely sharp, and they could often determine the winner in 1 or 2 moves. Alright, Lin Xian didn't want to waste any more time. Splitting mountain wave, Qiu Sihai condensed all the spiritual energy in his body and slashed out a stunning saber. The minor accomplishment saber intent surged in the sky, as if it was going to split the sky in half. The dazzling saber light mercilessly fell, covering half of the tea garden. 3,000 lightning haste, unification shocking heaven. The lightning flashed and condensed into a silver lightning, like the 9 heavens thunder crashing down. Boom! The lightning suddenly appeared. The mountains and rivers were shattered, and this attack moved all directions. At this moment, all the warriors frantically retreated, fearing that they would be involved in this violent force. Qiu Sihai was surrounded by the saber, like a god of death. The next moment, his face changed dramatically. Not good. This sword intent has exceeded the minor accomplishment realm. He was shocked that the opponent's sword intent had surpassed his. The terrifying sword intent was vast and mighty, making him a little breathless. In an instant, he was shrouded in sword light. Not good. Qiu Sihai is going to lose. In the distance, Duan Wuqing's eyes flashed, and his heart was bitter again. Lin Xian's aura at this moment was stronger than when he was fighting with him. What did this mean? This meant that Lin Xian did not use all his strength when fighting with him. Thinking of this, a sense of powerlessness rose in his heart. Qiu Sihai, who was in the middle of the sword light, was even more uncomfortable. His whole body was shrouded in sword light, and he could not move at all. At this moment, fear rose in his heart. As a disciple of Xinghai sect, he was respected more. He had comprehended a rare saber intent, and did not put anyone in his eyes. But now he knew how small he was and what it meant to be strong. Lin Xian's sword intent made him feel a sense of despair. This is a peerless genius, Qiu Sihai thought bitterly. This feeling was like facing the peerless genius of the sect. Am I going to die? He gave up resisting. However, in the next moment, the sword light disappeared as if it had never appeared. What? Qiu Sihai was shocked and suddenly looked up. He saw Lin Xian slowly sheathing the star of extinction sword back into its scabbard, and standing with his hands behind his back. He could actually withdraw his sword intent at will. Qiu Sihai was shocked. He found that Lin Xian was stronger than he imagined. Thank you for showing mercy. Qiu Sihai landed and said with a trace of gratitude. Everyone was stunned and dumbfounded. A powerful genius like Qiu Sihai actually said such words to Lin Xian. Shock, absolute shock. Lin Xian was a peerless genius. Compared to him, Duan Wuqing and Qiu Sihai were much more ordinary. As expected, Lin Xian would be the topic of discussion in Desolate Flame City for the next few days. Thank you for letting me win, Lin Xian said. He breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. He knew that he had achieved the condition of being famous in Desolate Flame City. You are strong, but you are not the strongest I have seen. Qiu Sihai said in a deep voice. There are a few monsters in Xinghai sect. Their talent and strength are definitely not inferior to yours. I really hope to see a battle between you two. Xinghai sect. Lin Yushuan repeated. Listening to Qiu Sihai's tone, there was another peerless genius in Xinghai sect. Don't doubt it, Qiu Sihai said. Although I am strong in the outside world, I am not even in the top 10 in Xinghai sect. Not even in the top 10? Everyone was shocked. They knew very little about the top forces. They only knew that the disciples inside were all experts among experts. However, they never thought that Qiu Sihai would not even be in the top 10. Chapter 436. Don't worry. I think we'll meet in the Azure Dragon Gathering sooner or later. Azure Dragon Gathering. Qiu Sihai's body trembled slightly, and Duan Wuqing's eyes lit up. Sure enough, a genius like Lin Xian wouldn't miss out on the Azure Dragon Gathering. Goodbye, we'll meet again if we have the chance. Lin Xian smiled indifferently, and then floated away. Lin Xian, wait for me. In the crowd, Yun Duo followed behind Lin Xian with a red face, and the two quickly disappeared, leaving the tea garden. Barren Flame City. The city was unusually lively these days, and Lin Xian's matter had already spread. Everyone was shocked. Still shocked. Great Banner Mansion. Iron Hand looked at Lin Xian in front of him, and nodded with satisfaction. Not bad. You really didn't let me down. I'll take you to the headquarters, and then you can participate in the Azure Dragon Gathering selection battle. Thank you, Lord Iron Hand. Lin Xian was happy. But there's one thing I need to remind you, Iron Hand said in a deep voice. Although you defeated Duan Wuqing and Qiu Sihai, it doesn't mean you can participate in the Azure Dragon Gathering. You should know that even Duan Wuqing and Qiu Sihai aren't qualified to participate in the selection battle. Lin Xian was slightly stunned. He didn't expect the Azure Dragon Gathering's qualification battle to be so high that even Duan Wuqing and Qiu Sihai weren't qualified. It seemed that the experts of the Dragon Star Kingdom were much stronger than he had imagined. Thank you, Senior, for reminding me. I'll work hard. Lin Xian said respectfully. Actually, if you're willing to stay in Great Banner Sect, you can participate in the next Azure Dragon Gathering. With your talent, there won't be many who can be your opponent in the next Azure Dragon Gathering. Iron Hand slowly said. When he found out that Lin Xian had actually comprehended two types of intent realms, he became fond of talent and wanted to take Lin Xian into his sect. Thank you, Senior, for your kindness, but I still want to seize this opportunity. Lin Xian's attitude was firm. He wasn't afraid of the selection battle, but more excited. Firstly, when he fought against Qiu Sihai and Duan Wuqing, he only used about half of his strength. Moreover, he still had the Evil King's crystal, which could help him reach the late harmonious spirit realm in a short time. At that time, even if he encountered a cultivator at the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm, he would have the confidence to fight. Alright, it's up to you. Iron Arms didn't say anything else. He knew that geniuses were all prideful. If Lin Xian didn't hit a wall, he probably wouldn't be satisfied. In the following days, Lin Xian temporarily settled down and cultivated diligently every day. Other than absorbing the energy within the crystals, he would also try to comprehend the illusory demon step whenever he had the time. The effect of this earth-tier martial art far exceeded his expectations. That day at the battle in the tea garden, he had only grasped a bit of it, but that speed had already surpassed his previous dragon inverse steps. If he could reach the small success stage, his speed would surpass the majority of spirit transformation realm warriors. The days of cultivation passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, he had been here for a month. During this period of time, he had successfully broken through to the late middle spirit realm by absorbing the energy within the Evil King's crystal. Moreover, his illusory demon step had also made great progress. Although he hadn't reached the small success stage yet, he wasn't far from it. On this day, Iron Arms summoned Lin Xian once again. Let's go, follow me to the headquarters. Lin Xian nodded and followed behind Iron Arms. He hit his late harmonious spirit realm cultivation base, making himself appear as a mid-harmonious spirit realm cultivator. He did this to preserve his strength, and also to not attract the attention of others. Otherwise, reaching the late harmonious spirit realm in just a month was too terrifying, and would definitely attract the attention of others. He didn't want to be captured and studied like a lab rat. Lin Xian was very successful in hiding. Even Iron Arms didn't notice him. The two boarded the bronze chariot. 3 ferocious roaring flood dragons soared into the sky and disappeared from desolate Flame City. Seeing that the day of the Azure Dragon Association was approaching, all the forces became active. This was the golden age of the younger generation. It was not only related to one's reputation, but also the fate of the sect, because the Azure Dragon True Qi from the Azure Dragon Association was not only magical for the individual, but also for the sect that the participant was from. Therefore, preparing for the Azure Dragon Association was not only a matter for the younger generation, but also for the entire sect. There were 6 top forces in the Dragon Star country. Each force was given 5 quotas to participate in the Azure Dragon Association. 5 spots were simply too few. One had to know that there were at least hundreds of thousands of people in a top force, and countless genius disciples. However, even so, there were only 5 spots. When Lin Xian heard this news, he took a deep breath. 5 quotas. No wonder Iron Arms was so cautious, and wanted to test his strength first. For a giant like the Great Flag Sect, there must be a lot of genius disciples. If Lin Xian didn't have enough strength, he would only become a laughing stock. Even now, Iron Arms didn't have too much hope. He still hoped that Lin Xian would be able to participate in the next Azure Dragon Association. The headquarters of the Great Flag Sect was in Longxing Country's Yong County. The 3 flood dragons were 8th-grade demonic beasts, and their strength was comparable to a spirit transformation realm expert. Even so, it took them 5 days to reach Yong County. The loud roar of the flood dragons resounded in all directions. The 3 flood dragons quickly rushed toward a group of magnificent buildings. Lord Iron Arms is back! The warriors below exclaimed when they saw the flood dragons and the bronze chariot in the sky. Not long after, a group of warriors gathered below. Each of them had a powerful aura. The weakest was at the mid-harmonious spirit realm, while the strongest was at the spirit transformation realm. These people all looked at the sky with a respectful expression. "Welcome, Lord Iron Arms." A group of people said respectfully. The 3 flood dragons stopped in the sky, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. The door of the bronze chariot opened and Iron Arms slowly walked out. Lin Xian followed closely behind. The warriors below looked at the sky and were shocked. Who is that kid? How can he stay beside Lord Iron Arms? Moreover, when they sensed that Lin Xian was only at the mid-harmonious spirit realm, they were even more confused. But even so, no one dared to ask. I came back to do one thing, and that is the Azure Dragon Association selection. Iron Arms strolled in the sky, his voice spreading in all directions. Inform them that the selection will begin in 10 days. Yes, the crowd below replied. Also, this is Lin Xian. From now on, he will also be a member of the Great Flag Sect. He will also participate in the Azure Dragon Association's selection. Qingshan, bring Lin Xian to rest. Yes, Lord. A slightly fat youth replied. Well, I can only help you to this extent. Whether you can participate in the Azure Dragon Association will depend on your strength. Iron Arms turned to Lin Xian and said. One should know that Daki sect was a top power with countless geniuses. The top 10 core disciples were even more powerful than Duan Wuqing. Seeing Lin Xian nodding, Yi Qianxing sighed. Brother Yi, why don't you tell me who is going to participate in the competition? All right, Yi Qianxing said slowly. There are a total of 10 people who will participate in the competition. They are the top 10 core disciples of Daki sect. These people were all at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. 2 of them had already reached the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. Moreover, these people had the strength to fight against a spirit transformation realm warrior. The top few monstrous geniuses could even kill a spirit transformation realm warrior. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. He realized that the top 10 core disciples were about the same level as him. Now that he had broken through to the late harmonious spirit realm, It shouldn't be too difficult to fight for a spot. But Brother Lin, if you really want to participate, you must be careful of two people. Yi Qianqing said. Oh, the two at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm? Not all of them. One of them is Ouyang Kuan. He is the #1 core disciple. His cultivation is at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, but he can easily kill a spirit transformation realm warrior. The other one is Hua Fei, who is ranked #7. She specializes in soul attacks and is very strange. Ouyang Kuan, Hua Fei. Lin Xian silently memorized these two, and then asked for some information about the others. After sending Yi Qianqing away, Lin Xian let out a sigh of relief. After hearing this news, he realized that these core disciples were definitely geniuses. Fortunately, he had broken through to the late harmonious spirit realm. Otherwise, it would be difficult to deal with these people. 10 days passed quickly. During this period of time, Lin Xian had completely consolidated his late harmonious spirit realm cultivation. The competition for the Azure Dragon Society's quota had also begun. The Great Banner sect was bustling with noise and excitement on this day. All the disciples had gathered, and most of the sect elders had also arrived. Lin Xian followed Yi Qianqing to the square. Looking at the dense crowd, he felt a trace of excitement in his heart. As long as he obtained the quota for the Azure Dragon Society, he could participate in the Azure Dragon Society. When he obtained the true dragon chi, he would be able to know the location of the Great Dragon Sword. Brother Lin, those people are the top 10 core disciples, Yi Qianqing said. Lin Xian looked over and saw 10 figures standing proudly in the crowd. These people wore iron-blooded battle robes and had a strong aura. That person is Ouyang Kuan, Yi Qianqing whispered. A person stood in front of the core disciples. His appearance was ordinary, but his eyes were like lightning, like a dormant beast. Ouyang Kuan is 30 years old this year. He participated in the last Azure Dragon Society, so he has a lot of experience. You've participated in it once. Lin Xian was astonished as he observed Ouyang Kuan carefully. Yes, 10 years ago, Ouyang Kuan participated, but he was still young and didn't get a good result. The arrogant figure felt Lin Xian's gaze and silently turned his head. His gaze was like a divine light, piercing through the void. When he saw Lin Xian, he was still expressionless and quickly turned his head. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. This person's aura was very strong. Also, that girl with the dimples, she is Hua Fei. She is only 18 years old this year, but she has reached the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, and it is said that her soul has reached the level of a 4-star inscription master. 4-star inscription master? Lin Xian was astonished. These days, he had never stopped cultivating his soul force, so strictly speaking, his soul had reached the level of a 4-star inscription master. This time, before Lin Xian could look over, the girl with the dimples had already looked over. Chapter 438. Lin Xian was slightly surprised. Such a strong soul force, worthy of being a core disciple. At this moment, Iron Arm stood up and said in a deep voice, "This is the Azure Dragon Society. There are only 5 spots for the challenge. There are 11 participants, and the top 5 will be qualified. Moreover, the first place will receive an additional reward. This reward may affect the ranking of the Azure Dragon Society. A reward that can affect the ranking of the Azure Dragon Society." The crowd exclaimed, including the core disciples. Their eyes shone brightly as they trembled with excitement. No matter what, they had to give it their all. Ouyang Kuan, who was at the front, revealed a smile. In his opinion, the first place would be his, and the special reward would also be his. Alright, let's cut to the chase. Lin Xian, you can come up. Hearing this, Lin Xian's body flashed and appeared in the middle of the square in an instant. Such a good movement skill. The Daki Sect's elder nodded slightly. For a moment, all eyes fell on Lin Xian. The top 10 core disciples stared at Lin Xian with different expressions. The top few disciples had a playful smile on their faces. They didn't put Lin Xian in their eyes. On the other hand, the core disciples at the bottom of the rankings were somewhat worried. Originally, they did not put Lin Xian in their eyes. However, when they saw Lin Xian's movement skill, they became vigilant in their hearts. That speed made them shudder with fear and trepidation. All right, let the competition begin. In the middle of the square, 11 young warriors were competing for the 5 spots. Each of them had to fight 10 rounds to determine the top 5. The referee was a white-bearded old man, a late-stage flower spirit warrior. This kind of cultivation was completely above everyone else, allowing him to control the competition well. The first match was Lin Xian's. His opponent was the 8th-ranked core disciple. Hanjun. Hanjun's cultivation was at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm, but his aura was much stronger than Qiu Sihai and Duan Wuqing. I heard that you defeated Qiu Sihai and Duan Wuqing? Hanjun sneered. I advise you to admit defeat. Those two can't be compared to me. Whether or not we can compete, we'll know after the battle, Lin Xian said in a low voice. Good boy, you're really arrogant. Take this. Hanjun shouted coldly, and his body floated out. Battle Wolf Divine Fist. His fist swung out like the howl of a demonic wolf, carrying with it a ruthless aura. The wind from his fists whistled, shaking the surroundings. Hanjun was right. He was not someone Duan Wuqing and the others could compare to. Using the Battle Wolf Fist technique, he could probably defeat Duan Wuqing within 10 moves. However, Lin Xian's strength was far beyond his imagination. Within the violent fist shadows, Lin Xian's body was erratic. Like a willow catkin swaying in the wind, it brushed past the shadows of the fists, but remained unscathed every time. What exquisite footwork! On the high platform, all the elders nodded and exclaimed, this little guy is not simple. He can remain undefeated in the innate realm, with just this movement technique. Sure enough, after dozens of moves, Hanjun did not even manage to touch the corner of Lin Xian's clothes. Damn it! Hanjun's face was gloomy. He felt embarrassed that he could not hit a mid-harmonious spirit brat. Wolf fighting in the wild. The shadows of the fists turned into hundreds of green shadow battle wolves, filling the entire arena. Each of the battle wolves had the strength to kill a peak harmonious spirit realm warrior. The shadows of the wolves pounced on Lin Xian, looking ferocious and terrifying. However, Lin Xian only swung his sword once and destroyed all of the attacks. Small success. Sword intent. The news is true. Everyone felt the shocking sword intent and started to discuss among themselves. Small success. Sword intent. So what? Watch my green wolf swallows the moon. Hanjun exerted all of his spirit energy and condensed the shadow of a green wolf behind him. Wind Emperor's sword. A shocking sword light flashed, like a flash of lightning. The sharp sword chi instantly pierced through the shadow of the green wolf. Hanjun's face turned pale. He trembled and retreated 10 steps, looking at Lin Xian in horror. What a sharp sword intent. Lin Xian could have easily killed him with that sword strike. If it wasn't for the competition, he would have died long ago. The winner is Lin Xian. The referee elder announced the result quickly. Everyone was shocked. The result was out of their expectation. Even though Lin Xian was rumored to be a god, it was still unreal for him to defeat Hanjun so easily. Among the core disciples, the last 5 disciples were all nervous. Even the few in front had a trace of caution. Lin Xian's strength was out of their expectation. Perhaps only Ouyang Kuan and the others could remain calm. Sure enough, in the next match, Lin Xian's strength once again confirmed everyone's thoughts. The last 5 core disciples were no match for him, and he won with ease. Ouyang Kun's performance was even more amazing. Even the second place, Yan Ming, was defeated by him within 30 moves. It seems like Ouyang Kuan will be the champion this time. Yeah, but I don't think the other 5 spots will be theirs. I think Hua Fei will get one of the spots. Her soul attack is too strange. That Lin Xian is not bad either. He is strong. Master Tai Shou is amazing to be able to find such a talented young man. Hey look, Hua Fei and Lin Xian are fighting. On the stage, Hua Fei was cute and witty. She had 2 dimples on her face, making her look like a little girl next door. However, if someone really treated her like a little girl next door, then they would be wrong. Hee, let me see how strong a genius like you is. Hua Fei picked up a harp and gently played it. Ding dong. A pleasant sound rang out, intoxicating everyone. However, this music contained a strange soul attack. Ordinary harmonious spirit realm warriors would be unlucky if they were caught off guard. Even a spirit transformation realm warrior would have to be careful when facing this kind of attack. However, Lin Xian was not worried. He was also an expert in soul force. With light steps, he quickly dodged the curved attacks. At the same time, he used the phantom sword art to form a phantom sword formation. Hey, he actually resisted Hua Fei's soul attack. This kid is too strong, the crowd exclaimed. Hua Fei was also surprised. Her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. You are also a soul cultivator. Her small mouth was slightly open. Her fingers that were playing the harp paused for a moment. However, this gap was seized by Lin Xian. His phantom sword formed a strange attack and slashed at Hua Fei. Humph! Hua Fei humphed. Her fingers moved and beautiful music was heard. Her spirit energy vibrated and quickly condensed. Shadows of sacred birds and sacred beasts appeared on the stage, dancing with the sound of the harp. Harmony of Zither Dao. It seems like Hua Fei is going to use her ultimate skill. Lin Xian frowned. He felt a sense of danger from these phantoms. Sword Chi soared to the sky. The great dragon sword intent let out a deep dragon roar. Terrifying sword light flashed in all directions. Ding! Hua Fei's fingers paused. One of the strings on her harp broke. This harp was a mid-grade spirit rank treasure. It was very powerful. Moreover, the strings were made from the tendons of 8th grade demonic beasts. They were very elastic and impossible to break. There was only one reason why it broke, and that was because it was cut by Lin Xian's sword intent. Lin Xian wins. The referee elder announced. Humph. Chapter 439. I didn't expect that even Hua Fei would lose. This Lin Xian is really amazing. Everyone exclaimed, and looked at Lin Xian with a hint of awe. This was a world where the strong were respected. The stronger Lin Xian was, the more awe these people would have. The competition continued and Hua Fei went up again. This time, her opponent was Ouyangquan. In the last competition, Hua Fei's harp had a broken string, so she didn't use her harp this time. Instead, she used a jade flute. Obviously, this jade flute was also a mid-grade spiritual treasure. Melodies that sounded like they were telling the tale of death slowly flowed and reverberated in the arena. Ouyangquan's face was expressionless. He stretched out his hand and slammed it down. Spiritual energy surged, and the sky seemed to be torn apart. A huge purple stone tablet fell from the sky and suppressed the surroundings. The entire arena trembled violently, and the sad tune was broken. Hua Fei was sent flying out of the arena. The winner is Ouyangquan. The judge saw that Hua Fei was only sent flying and wasn't injured. He let out a sigh of relief. No wonder he's the #1 core disciple. He's still so strong. He broke the soul attack in one move. Yeah, first place is definitely senior brother Ouyangquan. Everyone was talking and looking at Ouyangquan with admiration. Ouyangquan didn't have any expression about his victory. His opponents weren't these people, but the powerhouses of the Azure Dragon Association. For example, the chief disciples of the other 5 top factions. As for the rest, he didn't care at all. Lin Xian looked at Ouyangquan in shock. To be honest, Ouyangquan's strength was beyond his expectations. Moreover, that move was very violent. Even an early-stage spirit transformation realm cultivator wouldn't dare to take it head-on. However, he was able to control his strength very well, and only sent Hua Fei flying. This kind of method was indeed terrifying. Moreover, this person's aura had an inexplicable power. He should have comprehended a domain, but he didn't know what kind of domain it was. Shaking his head, Lin Xian didn't go up. He thought that he would know when he met him. Next, everyone took turns to go up. As the number of matches increased, the strength of each contestant was clearly displayed before everyone. The core disciples ranked in the bottom 5 lost more than they won. They were already out of luck with the 5 spots of the Azure Dragon Association. However, these people did not give up. They treated every match seriously and gave it their all. From this point, it could be seen that they were different from ordinary cultivators. They would not give up on themselves just because they had lost their quota this time. Those who had the ability to fight for a spot were the core disciples ranked at the top. Of course, there were 2 exceptions. One of them was the cute girl, Hua Fei. She relied on her strange soul power to rush to the front. The other person was Lin Xian. His domineering display also made everyone gasp in amazement. Moreover, Lin Xian and Ouyangquan were the two martial artists who had yet to lose. Fuck, this Lin Xian is too terrifying. He hasn't lost yet. What's the big deal? He hasn't met a real expert yet. I'm guessing that if he meets Ouyangquan or Zuyang, he'll lose for sure. That being said, it was indeed surprising that he could reach such a level at his age. The focus of everyone's discussion was Lin Xian, the dark horse. Look, Lin Xian's opponent is Zuyang. Zuyang was at the peak of the harmonious spirit realm. He was ranked second among the core disciples. Brat, your undefeated streak ends here. Zuyang drew out a blood-red long blade. He was very unhappy that he had lost to Ouyangquan just now. Now Lin Xian, a mid-harmonious spirit brat, was able to maintain his undefeated streak. This made him even angrier. Therefore, he immediately used his ultimate skill, the Broken Sun Saber art. The blood-red blade light slashed through the void. It was like a broken sun, bringing with it a sense of desolation. He used his secret art right away. It seems like Zuyang is going to get angry. Sigh, it's Lin Xian's bad luck to have come across Zuyang. Everyone shook their heads and sighed. They instinctively thought that Lin Xian would lose. There was no other way. Zuyang's cultivation was 3 levels higher than Lin Xian's. The gap between them was too big. Moreover, the Savage Sun Blade art was a high-rank spirit art. Its power was incomparable. Therefore, no one was optimistic about Lin Xian's chances. However, many of the elders on the viewing platform were slightly interested in this. I wonder if this kid has any other secret arts. If he doesn't, I'm afraid he will lose. The blood-red sun shone in all directions. The terrifying blade light swept across the stage. A sense of desolation spread out. The sky was dyed blood-red. Facing such a sharp blade art, Lin Xian quickly used the phantom illusion. No, he dodged while waving his star extinction sword. Every strike was aimed at the weakest part of the blade light. Therefore, even though the entire stage was filled with blade energy, the area 10 meters in front of Lin Xian was very safe. Good eyesight. He can find the flaw in every strike. Iron Arms nodded slightly. However, Zuyang was very shocked. He had practiced the Savage Sun Blade art to the great completion realm. It was very difficult for warriors of the same level to find his flaw. However, a mid-harmonious spirit brat was able to find his weakness every time. He found it hard to believe. He didn't believe that it was luck. What kind of heaven-defying luck could accurately find his flaw every time? No matter what, he had to be the first to attack. He had to use his secret art and win with an overwhelming victory. Blood Sun Intent. Savage Sun like blood. A savage sun appeared behind Zuyang's back and quickly merged with the blade. He swung his blade. The blood-red blade light was shocking. It fell down like a river of blood, covering the entire stage. Blood Sun Intent. Zuyang is using his intent. It seems like the battle is about to end. Facing the Blood Sun Intent, Lin Xian used the Wind Intent at the first moment. The void fluctuated. Spiritual qi condensed and turned into a tornado, sweeping across the stage. The blood-red blade light hit the tornado, creating a thunderous sound that shook the heaven and earth. What? He blocked the Blood Sun Intent? Everyone exclaimed. So what if he blocked it? My Blood Sun Intent has already surpassed the minor completion realm. Zuyang shouted and waved his long blade. The 100-meter-long blood-red blade light fell again. The airwaves in the air were like a tsunami, rolling to both sides. The blade light completely covered Lin Xian. However, in the Wind Intent, a shocking sword intent rushed to the sky. The sword light flickered and surged in all directions. The terrifying sword qi cut the Blood Sun Intent in half. Suddenly, Zuyang's body trembled, and he quickly retreated. A stream of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. The 3 forces collided with each other. The entire stage fell into a violent energy storm. What's the result? The crowd couldn't wait to look at the stage. However, the stage was covered by the energy storm. Suddenly, the late spirit realm judge frowned. He stretched out both of his hands and pulled with force. Asterisk chi asterisk the terrifying energy storm that covered the stage was torn apart. He waved his sleeve. The violent energy swept across the sky, and the stage returned to normal. Chapter 440. On the stage, Zuyang was half kneeling on the ground with a long blade in his hand. His hair was disheveled, and he was in a sorry state. The blood on the corner of his mouth was very eye-catching. What? Zuyang lost? This is impossible. The crowd couldn't believe it. Zuyang was the genius ranked second among the core disciples. His cultivation had reached the peak of harmonious spirit realm. No one could defeat him except for Ouyang Kuan. Who would have thought that he would be defeated by Lin Xian? For a moment, Lin Xian became the focus of everyone's discussion. Moreover, many people were comparing him with Ouyang Kuan. With Lin Xian's current record, he was almost certain to get a spot. Moreover, he had yet to be defeated. The first place of this challenge would be between him and Ouyang Kuan. Ouyang Kuan turned his head and looked at Lin Xian with a trace of contempt in his eyes. Too weak, so weak that he couldn't arouse his interest. As a former participant of the Azure Dragon Association, Ouyang Kuan was far superior to Zuyang and the others in terms of cultivation and experience. In the eyes of the crowd, Lin Xian was a monstrous genius. However, in his eyes, Lin Xian was ordinary because he had seen too many monstrous geniuses in the Azure Dragon Association. The competition continued until the last 5 spots were decided. The top 3 core disciples had all obtained a spot. The remaining 2 were Gui Huafei and Lin Xian. Iron Hand looked at Lin Xian and pondered. To be honest, he just wanted to let Lin Xian run into a wall and accumulate experience, so that he could participate in the next Azure Dragon Association. However, he didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. Not only did he obtain a spot, but he also defeated the second-ranked Zuyang. This kind of talent was rarely seen in his life. I wonder how he will fare against Ouyang Kuan. Will he be able to win? Iron Hand didn't know why, but a trace of expectation rose in his heart. When this thought came to his mind, even he was shocked. He smiled bitterly and shook his head. This was obviously impossible. Ouyang Kuan's strength was far beyond Lin Xian's. In the arena, Lin Xian and Ouyang Kuan stood on opposite sides. They were about to enter the final round. Everyone held their breaths and watched quietly. Although they knew that Lin Xian had no chance of winning, they still retained a trace of hope in their hearts. Brat, you're not bad. I feel like I'm looking at my past self in you. Ouyang Kuan spoke for the first time, and his voice was as firm as a boulder. With your aptitude, you should have a great chance of entering the next Azure Dragon Society, he said in the tone of an elder. Thank you, senior apprentice brother Ouyang. Lin Xian smiled. However, we cultivators must seize every moment. I'm not sure if he'll participate in the next tournament, but this time, it'll definitely shine with my own brilliance. Arrogant and ignorant, Ouyang Kuan snorted. There are countless geniuses more monstrous than you in the Azure Dragon Assembly. Looks like you won't wake up until I show you some true strength. As he spoke, he stretched out his 5 fingers, and streaks of purple chi spread out from his fingertips. Universe Devil Suppressing Hand. The purple palm fell, and the spirit chi in the sky vibrated, forming a huge vortex. The purple palm fell from the sky, suppressing Lin Xian. The purple palm was like a real mountain, and it fell quickly. Boom! The arena trembled, and it was forcefully pressed down by 3 feet. Lin Xian used the illusory demonic steps and quickly dodged the attack. However, before he could react, Ouyang Kuan had already arrived beside him. His right leg swept out like a dragon emerging from the sea. Bang! A dull sound echoed in the arena. In a moment of desperation, Lin Xian quickly used the silver thunder body and forcefully kicked. Lin Xian's terrifying power forced him back. Lin Xian's fall left a deep gash in the arena. He slid all the way to the edge of the arena. After the attack, Ouyang Kuan stood with his hands behind his back and spoke calmly. Do you see that? This is the difference between us. The crowd exclaimed. They didn't expect Ouyang Kuan to push Lin Xian back in 2 moves. It seemed that Ouyang Kuan was indeed powerful, suppressing so many geniuses. Lin Xian shook his numb palms, and his eyes shone with a shocking light. The kick just now had indeed made him suffer. But he was excited. It had been a long time since he met such an opponent, who could make his blood boil. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. As expected of someone who participated in the previous Azure Dragon Society, you're indeed powerful. An opponent like you is worthy of my full strength. Lin Xian's words caused an uproar. Many people were puzzled. Could it be that this kid had some kind of trump card? However, more people thought that Lin Xian was bragging and was just trying to save some face. Iron Arms also frowned. He couldn't guess what kind of trump card Lin Xian had. Ouyang Kuan sneered. No matter what kind of trump card you have, you can't win against me. Is that so? Lin Xian smiled, and his hands quickly formed a seal. Release the seal. A slight sound came from his body, and suddenly, a vast aura rushed out. This is Late Harmonious Spirit Realm. Everyone widened their eyes. He actually hit his cultivation. This is too terrifying. Many people went crazy. Lin Xian was able to remain undefeated after hiding his cultivation level. If it wasn't for Ouyang Kuan, they wouldn't have known that Lin Xian was actually a Late Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivator. Zhu Yang and the others looked at the arena, their faces burning. They had always thought of themselves as geniuses, and they didn't put anyone in their eyes. However, they never thought that they would be defeated by Lin Xian. Moreover, Lin Xian had suppressed his cultivation level to fight them. He actually hit his cultivation level. Iron Arms was also surprised. Even with his cultivation level and eyesight, he couldn't see Lin Xian's hidden cultivation level. This kid is interesting. Maybe he can create some surprises. On the arena, Ouyang Kuan looked at Lin Xian with a dignified expression. It's useless. Even if you are at the peak of the Harmonious Spirit Realm, you still can't win against me, let alone a Late Harmonious Spirit Realm cultivator. Now it's time to end this. His voice was still echoing, but his figure still appeared in front of Lin Xian. A purple light bloomed on his body, dancing like a divine flame. His 5 fingers turned into a claw, grabbing at Lin Xian's throat. Lin Xian quickly retreated, and at the same time, he unsheathed his star extinction sword. The sword hilt quickly hit the purple palm, creating a clanging sound. Then Lin Xian held the long sword and slashed out. The sword light was fleeting, silently stabbing at Ouyang Kuan's shoulder. This sword attack combined the Great Dragon Sword intent and the concept of wind. Not only was it sharp, but it was also extremely fast. In a flash, Ouyang Kuan's spirit energy defense was cut open. However, Ouyang Kuan's strength was extraordinary. His shoulder shook, and at the same time, he used his fingers like a knife and quickly cut the sword. The long sword vibrated, creating a strange sword light in the air. With a tearing sound, a corner of Ouyang Kuan's iron blood battle robe was cut off. What, he almost injured brother Ouyang? The crowd below exclaimed. Many people only saw the corner of the robe falling, but they couldn't see the trajectory of the sword and Ouyang Kuan's movements. Only Zhu Yang and a few others could see it clearly. On the high platform, the elders of the Great Flag sect narrowed their eyes. Once this secret technique is used, even if Lin Xian has 50% sword intent, it will be difficult for him to resist. Lin Xian frowned as he looked at the figure that looked like a clone. He quickly used his eye technique to sense, but he found that the doppelganger's aura was exactly the same as Ouyang Kuan's. How is this possible? Just as he was surprised, Ouyang Kuan and the purple figure quickly rushed over, turning into 2 purple rays of light. He waved the star extinction sword, and the sword chi drew a half-moon arc in front of him, forcing the 2 to retreat. However, the 2 of them attacked from the front and back, and their strength was comparable to a spirit transformation realm martial artist. They actually suppressed Lin Xian tightly. Everyone was stunned. Just when they thought that Lin Xian would win, such a situation actually occurred. As expected of eldest senior brother, he even has such a secret technique. It seems that Lin Xian will lose for sure. That's for sure. This secret technique is equivalent to the attack of 2 spirit transformation realm martial artists. No matter how heaven-defying Lin Xian is, it is impossible for him to resist 2 spirit transformation realm martial artists. However, although this secret technique is powerful, it must have a certain limit. Otherwise, it would be heaven-defying. Some people guessed that it might not take too long. Indeed, Yankun's attacks were fierce, and he looked like he wanted to end the battle quickly. He had just mastered the purple extreme diffusing light technique, so he could only use it for a short time. However, this was enough. After all, no one could resist the attack of two spirit transformation realm martial artists. Universe Devil Suppressing Hand. Yankun and his doppelganger used two secret techniques at the same time, attacking Lin Xian from the left and right. If this attack hit, Lin Xian would lose half of his life, even if he didn't die. The referee elder's expression became serious. He was ready to help at any time. At this moment of crisis, Lin Xian sighed and grasped the hilt of the Wind Shadow Sword. Originally, he didn't want to reveal his trump card. However, facing such an attack, he had no choice but to do so. It was either the 70% sword intent, or the Wind Shadow Sword. After thinking about it, he decided to use the Wind Shadow Sword. After all, the Wind Shadow Sword was easy to recognize. Moreover, he wanted to hide his 70% sword intent as a final killing move. Seeing that the huge purple palm was about to wrap Lin Xian quickly pulled out the Wind Shadow Sword. With two swords in hand, Lin Xian lightly tapped his feet and spun like a whirlwind. A terrifying sword light stirred up the surroundings. The sword light flashed and filled the entire stage. In an instant, Lin Xian's doppelganger appeared on the other side of the stage. Boom! The terrifying sword light disappeared, and the two purple palms split apart. Not only that, the doppelganger was split into two and quickly disappeared. Yankun's iron-blooded battle robe was also torn apart. The terrifying sword intent pierced through his inner armor and left a sword mark. However, Lin Xian was very careful. The sword mark only stayed on the surface and didn't hurt Yankun. Yankun's body stiffened and cold sweat flowed out of his forehead. In that instant, although he saw the sword chi's path and tried his best to resist, the sword chi was too terrifying. It instantly pierced through his defense. Everyone was stunned. They didn't see the entire process. They only saw the stage being surrounded by the purple aura. In the next moment, the shocking sword light enveloped the entire stage. Although they didn't see the entire process of the battle, they saw the result clearly. Lin Xian was unharmed, but there was a sword mark on Yankun's chest. The winner was immediately determined. The referee elder was also stunned. That sword strike just now gave him a breathtaking feeling. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.